Did the negatives that had to become a part of it, have you been able to forget about them and enjoy the true moment of it all?
Oh, I think so. You know, you got to expect that. And we went through it early in the year, and I think they went through it last year during the pennant race. You know, these are just the things that, like I said, at least one thing that's really a big plus out of it is that people are getting to know our players. And I think that when you're not in a big media city like LA or Chicago, New York, you have some trouble with your identity. And I think that maybe at times we were overlooked as a team, but certainly if you're the world champions, nobody's going to overlook you. And they're going to start knowing everybody around here, and these guys deserve it.
You picked Detroit over other cities. It was kind of a case of Russian roulette. Do you ever thank your stars that you knew how to make the right decision?
Oh, of course. I thank God every day for this, the opportunity to get this chance to be in a World Series and to play in a town as terrific as this. You know, the people have supported us. I knew they were going to come out, and if we won, that they were going to come out in the numbers they have. And, you know, not only the people today that are going to enjoy it in the stadium, and I know there's going to end up being 500,000 that were at the last game, but all the people outside and the party that's going to go on tonight.
Something's coming to me. It says 2-run game-winning Homer Evans. Anyway, you heard it here first. I guess you did too.
Well, that would be a heck of a way to top it off. You know, hitting a home run the first game I played on the road and first game here would be nice. If we win tonight, it doesn't really make any difference. We got here as a team, and we're going to win as a team, and hopefully I get a chance to contribute today. But if not, we get more runs than they do today. Everything's going to be more and more satisfying.
Thank you, Darryl, very much. Okay. And a good season, too. We will have more when Tigers 84 continues.
At Tiger Stadium since 1957. Ballpark Franks.
Recently, many more of you have turned to Channel 4 to catch the excitement of the Tiger World Series. And you've come away with a little something extra. A look at another hot team, the News 4 Tonight team. Mort Krim and Carmen Harlan. First 4 Sports with Eli Zaret, Al Ackerman, and Fred Hickman. And Brian Tagland in Weather Watch, along with the special reports that make a difference. Why not make the switch for good? News 4, it's local, it's live, and it matters.
Well, yes, there is a party atmosphere here today and all in the stands, but I think if anybody could give us a word or two of warning, it'd be the Chicago Cubs, and that is, don't start the party too soon. Dan Petrie versus Mark Thurman, as NBC's pregame show is next. Thanks for joining us. Tigers 84 was brought to you by your neighborhood True Value Hardware store. The more you've got to do, the more you need True Value Hardware stores. We've got what it takes. And by Health Alliance Plan. Nothing else comes close.
Hey, look, Little Caesars has this great glass offer saluting all your favorite Tiger players. Wait till you see the one with me on it. Now, let's see. There's one with Gibby. No, this one has Rosie on it. Don't worry, I must be here somewhere.
This week's glass features Tram, Rosie, and Hojo. Sorry, Marty.
Rosie makes it? And they cut me?
Get your Tiger glasses now at Little Caesars, just 59 cents with any purchase.
Well, they don't have all your favorite Tiger players, but there are some good ones.
We now join our scheduled program already in progress.
Welcome back to Detroit in Game 5 of the World Series. You know, for every name that now lives in World Series legend, there is usually another name, that of an unsung hero, without whose deeds the scene could never have been set for the moments we remember best. Here's Joe Garagiola.
The spotlight always shines brightest on the players during the World Series. Make a great play, hit a home run, pitch a great game. It seems like you're remembered forever. But what about those guys who grab that brass ring for a short time? Can you remember some? I can. Like 1946, it was the Cardinals and the Red Sox in the World Series. And there I am on the right, my first and last World Series, Karowski in the middle, and that Slaughter on the left. Slaughter is the one that everybody remembers because in Game 7, there he goes from first base and he scores all the way. He runs right through the stop sign and he scores the winning run. But what about Harry Walker? Hey, Walker's the man who got the hit that scored Slaughter.
Speed is something that excites anybody. And, of course, Harry Walker was not quite as known as well as Enos Slaughter, and that makes a difference, too. It just so happened that I led the thing in hitting with 412 and led it in RBIs. And the last game, we only got 4 runs, and I drove in 2 and scored 1 and drove in the winning run. But as you say, there was not much said about it because of Slaughter's running. But, of course, if you don't hit the ball, he can run all day. It wouldn't have scored, would he?
1960, Pirates and the Yankees. And will we ever forget Bill Mazeroski's dramatic home run? Bottom of the 9th, and that climaxed the series. The Pirates were the world champions for the first time in 35 years. But it was Hal Smith's home run in the bottom of the 8th that put the Pirates ahead, but that got lost in time.
We thought we had won the World Series in my home run. The people on the bench, the people in the stands, all of us just went bananas. Then they tied the game up the top of the 9th, and then Mazeroski hit the home run, and it's hard to forget that.
1975, Boston Red Sox, Cincinnati Reds. You talk about that World Series, they all remember Carlton Fisk's home run. But Carlton remembers the home run that set it up. It was hit by Bernie Carbo.
The 12th inning home run sort of took the flair or the punch out of Bernie's home run, but his was equally as important.
If anyone comes up to me and they start talking about baseball, the thing they talk about is the 1975 World Series. The 2 pinch hit home runs I hit.
Deep center field, way back, we're tied up.
For me to go up to the plate and to hit a pinch hit home run is unbelievable. It's just like a dream come true. It's like things that I've dreamed when I was a little boy. Dreaming about playing in the World Series. I think every kid dreams about that.
3 unsung heroes. Maybe we had to be reminded, but I'm sure they remember them well.
Thanks, Joe. Now, don't go too far away. We'll put you and Vin Scully to work in just a few moments. Quick weather report. Drizzle earlier today. Overcast now, no rain falling. Does it end here, or do we go back to the West Coast? The answer next on NBC.
Tonight on Knight Rider, a girl's in trouble, and Michael and Kit go undercover on the gridiron to save her.
I really don't enjoy this game.
Make some extra points tonight.
Monday, it's Family Ties Bloopers with Michael Gross, Practical Jokes on pop star Cyndi Lauper and Knots Landing's Joan Van Ark. Plus, animals just want to have fun, too. Monday. News 4 Today with Dan Montney, weekday mornings at 6:30. NBC Sports presents the 1984 World Series. Today, Game 5, the San Diego Padres versus the Detroit Tigers. Brought to you by Miller High Life, the best beer for the best time of the day. Welcome to Miller Time. By Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Wagner, the right tool for painting. And by the makers of Right Guard. You work hard. You need Right Guard.
The fog persists in Detroit, a 30% chance of showers. But nothing will dim the enthusiasm of the fans inside Tiger Stadium, the site of Game 5 of the 1984 World Series. Hi, everybody. I'm Vin Scully, along with Joe Garagiola. Well, here we are, Game 5, and the Padres up against it.
Well, they're up against it, but actually it's the easiest day of the year for the managers on both sides in regards to one thing, the message they have to get across to their players. Sparky is simply, hey, we win 1, it's all over. And I'll quote the players. Larry Hernan, who hardly says anything, said that the year is down to 1 game.
Well, to pursue that line of thinking, of course, I can see Dick Williams pitching everybody at any time, but not Sparky, because he still has to remember and has predicted it still would go 7 games.
Well, he's going to have his ace ready if it does go to the 7th game, Morris. But as you say, Dick will pitch everybody, including Ballard Smith, Jack McKeon. But they know what they have to do. And the Goose, it took one of the veterans to put it in focus. He said, hey, let's not try to win 3 games with 1 game, which simply means let's play our normal game today.
Well, it'll be Dan Petrie and Mark Thurman. Right now, let's go to public address announcer John Bell for the introduction of the national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, the colors are being presented today by a joint color guard of United States and Canadian Armed Forces. We ask now that you rise to honor America as the University of Michigan Men's Glee Club, under the direction of Dr. Patrick Gardner, sings our national anthem.
Congratulations to the University of Michigan Glee Club, the men's group. What a magnificent rendition of our national anthem. We'll be back. Starting lineups coming up, and the pregame notes right after this message.
America's presidents, America's game. Join in the commemoration of a grand old tradition by getting your World Series program. Send a $5 check or money order to World Series program, P.O. Box 8484, Trenton, New Jersey, 08650. That's World Series program, P.O. Box 8484, Trenton, New Jersey, 08650.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
Ladies and gentlemen, we draw your attention to the commissioner's box at the home plate end of the first base dugout for today's ceremonial first pitch. Our first ball pitcher was an outstanding American League player who was at the pinnacle of his career as a third baseman for the Detroit Tigers. His accomplishments won him election to the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1983. We welcome as our first ball thrower Mr. George Kell. Mr. Kell will receive the baseball from a former college first baseman. It's with pride that baseball welcomes to the World Series the Vice President of the United States, the Honorable George Bush. Gentlemen, the first ball, please.
So the pregame festivities are over. Lance Parrish receiving the toss from George Kell, who received the ball from the Vice President of the United States. And now we get to the serious matter at hand. And first of all, let's take a look at the San Diego lineup. The first feeling you have when you look at it is Dick Williams has decided to stay with the girl he took to the dance. There's been a lot of conversation about maybe with a slumping left fielder, Carmelo Martinez, and a slumping Bobby Brown in center, maybe he would switch and put Tim Flannery at second base and move Alan Wiggins to left field. But Dick Williams has decided, I stay with the crew that got me here, and there they are. Martinez in left, then you have Gary Templeton hitting eighth at shortstop, and Bobby Brown in center field. On the mound, right-hander Dan Petrie, an 18-game winner during the regular year, and let's check the scouting report on him, and here's Joe.
He's got a fastball, a slider. He can run it in. He runs it away, and like everybody on his ball club, he'll give you the split-fingered fastball, but it's an occasional one. I think in order to be in a Detroit Tiger uniform and be a pitcher, you better throw that thing.
I would think. Well, he's going to be throwing it. Alan Wiggins, Tony Gwynn, and Steve Garvey in that order. When Wiggins was hitting and Darrell Evans was the third baseman, Evans, you remember, stayed almost on the edge of the grass. We'll see how far in Marty Castillo comes, because Castillo, when he played, came about almost halfway to home plate. Wiggins waiting for things to settle down, and we'll get this ball game underway. Petrie and Parrish, an infield of Evans, Whitaker, Trammell, and Castillo, and the outfield of Herndon, Lemon, and Gibson. And here we go, the first pitch of Game 5. Wiggs hitting .353 in the series. Ball one. On the corner for a strike, 1-1. Paul Runge of the National League is the plate umpire. Riley, Harvey, Barnett, Fremming, and Garcia on the line. 1-1. And line drive right on by Petrie and through into center field.
That is Wiggins' style, is to hit it right back up the middle. And I think, Vin, you can almost, as we watch the replay of him, just serving it right back up the middle. He doesn't swing hard. Petrie just a little bit late with his glove. I think it's almost like the first game. Wiggins is going to send that message that I'm going to steal to get our ball club going, and they do need somebody to light that fire, and I'm sure we can look for a pitch out with Wiggins on the first base with Craig and Lance Parrish.
Dick Williams hoping to get a jump. This Padre ball club has been behind from the 5th inning in every game. Now, Petrie is very tough on base runners. In fact, more have been caught than have succeeded against him. He is 1-1 in that area in the series, and Wiggins, no doubt, will try to test him. That's in there. Tony Gwynn waiting, a patient hitter, to see what's up with Wiggins.
That's the good hitter, giving him at least one strike. Now he's on his own. Gwynn can just do whatever he wants.
He's hitting .357 in the series. 0-1. Petrie is considered an excellent fielder and very good at turning the double play. Wiggins settling in as if he's ready to push off over there. And they pitch out. That could have been a deke just to convince Parrish to waste a pitch.
I think, well, he does that pretty much all the time. That's very soft around first base. They're all digging in there. What these managers do is pick a particular pitch. Forget strategy. They're trying to think, well, what will he throw? If he throws a slow pitch, I'll run him.
1-1. Hit foul down the left field line, out of play. That was a most important pitch. Had it been ball 2, then the Padres would have figured that would negate a pitch out, and you could bet Wiggins would be going 2 balls, 1 strike. But it's the other way around now, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Well, there's a lot of cat and mouse going on. Chances are 99/100th that he's not going to be pitching out here, but maybe Lance says, hey, he's thinking that I will. They're picking particular pitches.
1-2. He goes, and it's fouled away.
The strategy, forget it. It's just they're trying to think of what the other fellow's going to do, and they act accordingly. 1 ball, 2 strikes. You figure he's going to waste the pitch. Petrie went out after him. Gwynn, of course, with 2 strikes, has to really take a hack at it. And Wiggins taking off a base hit. He'd have been in good shape.
Interesting combination. You have a very fast runner. And remember, Gwynn, the toughest man to strike out in the major leagues, although Wilcox struck him out in Milt's game. 1-2. He goes. And it's chased and missed. The throw hits the runner, goes into center field, juggled by center fielder Lemon, and Wiggins is to third. So they got more out of that than they could certainly ask for.
And they're looking for any kind of a break, and that could be it. And don't think the Tigers aren't thinking about it. It's a tough pitch for Parrish to handle. Low inside curveball. He's screened by Wynn, who swings. The throw is a little bit to the second base side into center field as it was sailing away. And Wiggins ends up at third. You'll see the throw kind of sail.
Now Steve Garvey is asked to do what the Padres have been unable to do, get a lead. The infield halfway. High slider, ball one, 1-0. Roger Craig says Dan Petrie has the best slider in America. 1 ball, no strikes. Dan has a California flavor to his background. He was born in Palo Alto. Little nubber, and the count 1-1.
There are situations that come up where pitchers have to do particular things just like hitters. And right now the battle is for Garvey to get the ball in the air. Petrie's got to keep that ball on the ground or go for the strikeout. ERA, whatever you want to go, the yardstick they use for pitchers is how good a pitcher is he with a man on third and less than 2 outs.
Garvey has 1 RBI in his last 64 World Series at-bats. And he hits it sharply to Whitaker. Wiggins to the plate. He is out at the plate. He never tagged it. He never tagged the plate. Watch it. Parrish has got it blocked. He slides past the plate. He never tagged home plate. They're going to argue, and Parrish knew it, so he went back to get him. Paul Runge says the tag was high up on the leg. He never tagged the plate. He never tagged him. And Runge just said to Dick Williams and gestured to Dick Williams' left thigh. He didn't have to tag him again.
Well, he may not have had to tag him according to Runge, but according to Parrish, he knows he didn't tag him. You don't go after a guy if you tagged him.
Right, and yet the plate umpire indicated he did tag him on the leg going by. One way or the other, Wiggins is out. Garvey has not had the chance to pick him up, and the Padres suffer a severe setback and right at the outset. Wiggins a race 4-2. Garvey standing at first on the fielder's choice, and Greg Nettles a batter. Nettles has not been hitting. Only 2 hits in the series. He's walked 4 times. Foul ball. 0-1. Now Roger Craig is going out to talk to Petrie. When Dan pitched the last time, we went into that long and rather heartwarming story about their father-son relationship. And we don't know, of course, depending upon the series and the future, whether this is going to be Roger's last game or not.
Well, he keeps slipping down. It was 90% sure in September, and now it's down to 70%. And now, after the series, he's going to sit down and talk to his wife, and they're going to make a decision. I think what he was trying to do was to settle him down and use that baseball expression, stay within yourself. Don't try to overthrow it. If he tries to go fastball against Nettles, he may be in for some serious trouble.
So Nettles up there with the count 0-1, 2 out in the first inning. Wiggins out at the plate on the ground ball by Garvey. And Petrie is ready. Off speed for a strike. So if he was overthrowing, he came back with a great call, the off-speed pitch, and in the strike zone.
Well, we've been saying it all along, and it's no big secret. Nettles is a dead fastball hitter.
Dead is right. He has 20 home runs during the regular year. Just show it to him now, but keep it a yard outside. Ball 1. Darrell Evans is not holding the bag on Garvey. They don't expect him to do any running. The first wave of the day starts in center field and works its way towards the right field foul pole. He could have thrown that away. If that were a fastball, I don't think Parrish could have gotten to it, but it was a high change, and Lance was able to catch up to it.
He'd have thrown that fastball there. I think Craig might have been out there again, or at least waiting for him at the top step. Here's his pitch of decision. He wants it to happen right here on 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Little ground ball to Whitaker, and the Padres come up empty. No run, 1 hit, an error, and a man left in the big play. Lance Parrish tagging a sliding Alan Wiggins, who never did touch home plate. Scoreless at the end of half an inning.
From the World Series to the presidential debates, NBC News is there. When you want news from across the nation and throughout the world, turn to NBC Nightly News.
Here's the way the Tigers stack up offensively. Lou Whitaker at second base and Alan Trammell at shortstop. Kirk Gibson in right field and Lance Parrish behind the plate. Larry Herndon is in left field with the left-hander going. Barbaro Garbey is the DH. Chet Lemon in center field. Darrell Evans will be at first base and Marty Castillo at third. And on the mound trying to throw a blanket over them, left-hander Mark Thurman, who lasted 5 innings against the Tigers, the longest for any San Diego starter.
And remember that he was the one who really hung in there. We use the expression junkyard dog. That's what he is. He hangs in there tough. He's got good control, good motion. He's got an average, maybe below average fastball. Same can be said for his curveball, but his change of pace is an excellent pitch. If he turns it over, it acts like a screwball, and it sets up the other hitters. But the key to him, Vin, is what Terry Kennedy says. He knows his own ability. And I might add, if I were catching, I'd walk out and say, watch the first pitch. This guy's been jumping on it.
I'll tell you, he's got reason to jump. Lou Whitaker is the happiest guy in town. His wife, Crystal, delivered a baby daughter, Sarah, 7 pounds 6 ounces this morning. And he takes a strike. Mark Thurman, he's 28 out of Houston, Texas. And look at those numbers. Aren't they shocking? The starters, ERA 11, and the relievers, a third of a run. In fact, the only run given up by the relief pitchers is when Kirk Gibson was hit by Greg Booker. That's the only run. You remember he hit him with the bases loaded. 1-1. In there. The key with Thurman all day will be keep track of the count. If he's ahead of the hitter, he's got a good shot at it. Because control is paramount importance to him. He's not strong enough to blow you away. Line to right field, and here we go again. Yesterday's hero, although that's not fair. He's been a hero ever since he's been in Detroit. Look at those numbers. So Whitaker is at first. That base hit was for baby Sarah, I guess, and for his wife, Crystal. Alan Trammell is hitting .563.
And you have to give hitting coach Gates Brown a lot of credit. He's the one who talked to Trammell about keeping that left shoulder tucked in. Drive with it.
Ball 1. That wasn't much of a 1-2 fastball. I was surprised he was up with it, and it was a great pitch for Whitaker to handle.
He's got to spot the ball. He's not going to overpower you. He doesn't like pitch outs a whole lot either. Many left-handers don't like it because they're looking at the runner. They say we can keep him close enough. That doesn't mean Whitaker's not going to run, because Trammell, even though he showed some power yesterday, they can put a play on.
And yet we all have known of left-hand pitchers who hate to throw to first. Breaking ball in there, 1-1. Remember Kurt Simmons, of course, he never threw to first. He just tried to fake you with his eyes, I guess. he never threw. 1-1. They count Alan Trammell. Trammell, who had a great September, he hit over 400. Hits a big chopper slowly. Templeton goes to second in time. Boy, what a split-second decision. And he was correct.
He really had something on that, and Wiggins was there. He didn't take for granted that Templeton would go to first base. He threw that ball hard. Got him.
You know, as Kirk Gibson comes up to the plate, somewhere down around Tampa, Florida, watching the game, I'm sure, is an outfielder who played on the 44 Cardinals with Stan Musial, won the World Series, Danny Litweiler.
Sure, I know Danny.
Well, Danny, among other things, was the baseball coach at Michigan State. He convinced Steve Garvey and gave him a scholarship to go to State to play baseball. He talked Kirk Gibson into playing baseball. He was a football player. And I'm sure Litweiler is sitting back saying, my boys are doing well.
Danny, good right-hand hitter.
He also coached Dick Hauser at Florida State. And there it goes from Michigan State and all of Tigerdom. Lance Parrish. I'm certainly happy that Gibson was not excited about that home run. Look at that face. Line to left field. And Mark Thurmond is a marked man now.
And the Padres will have to be running uphill again.
No one throwing in the bullpen, but in a minute there will be. You can bet on it.
Oh, they're moving already. He's got to make quick moves today.
So Mark Thurmond is suffering the pain and the anguish of all of the other San Diego starting pitchers.
You lose today, and your pitchers are going to be going with 4 months rest.
And there goes Parrish. Pitch is high. Hesitation by Kennedy. The base is stolen.
Couldn't get the ball out of his glove. Watch his double take. He can't get it out right there. And Parrish, it takes him a while to get started with that big body. He kind of unfolds as he runs, but he made it.
So San Diego is on the rack already. 1 out in the first inning, 2-0 Detroit. Change missed. Andy Hawkins will begin to loosen up in the San Diego bullpen. Busted bat, blooper to center. Bobby Brown lets it land. Hesitating and now going to third is Parrish. I would think a better center fielder catches that ball.
Lance Parrish thought it was be caught. You could see him retreat. Now he makes it to third easily. The broken bat might have been deceiving because it was a big swing by Herndon. Broke his bat and drops for the base hit. Sherry trying to settle everybody down. All he's really trying to do is the equivalent of a roll call. See who's here and who isn't hurt and who can continue the battle. Gibson swing and watch the reaction.
Look at Tracewski. He's as calm as could be standing there in the first base coaching box.
He just wanted to make sure he tagged first.
First and third. Chet Lemon hitting .214. Parrish down the line from third. Herndon from first. One and 0. I'm sure Sparky knows what he's doing, but this is not the lineup that we received officially before the start of the game. I can't believe Lemon is hitting out of turn, but this isn't the way the lineup was printed. They had Garbe hitting in front of Lemon, But here's Lemon with Garbe on deck.
Well, if it's wrong, Dick Williams will let him hit before he says anything.
Right. There's a base hit. Thurmond is just about done. Parrish scores 3-0 Detroit. Here comes Dick Williams. Finds himself, as usual, out in front. In fact, the Tigers had scored in the first inning in 6 of their 7 games. By the way, we were talking about Sparky and the lineup, and they tell us that just a few minutes before the start of the game, he opted to change the lineup. So there's no problem about having anybody hitting out of turn. Andy Hawkins making his appearance. And if San Diego starters thought things couldn't get any worse with an ERA of 11, as you saw it did, it's ballooned up over 13. At first and second, you have Lemon and Herndon. And here is Garbe. And the runners go. The bat flies and the tag at third in time to get Herndon.
I'm not so sure there wouldn't have been maybe an interference complaint by Nettles at third base on the play, because the bat really went flying towards him. You'll see it. He had that with a broken bat. This just slipped out of his hands. Nettles was there and makes the easy tag.
So that slows down the momentum. Had that been successful, it would have been a definite feeling that the Tigers are just running San Diego right out of the ballpark. That's a big out to slow them down temporarily. So Barbaro Garbe with the count 0-1, 2 down, and there goes a pitch to the screen. Lemon to third and holding.
Well, Hawkins has a good fastball and a good hard slider that looked like it might have been a slider. Kennedy tried to backhand the ball, didn't shift to block it, got by him, and wild pitch is the way they score it.
Hawkins had worked 8 innings and struck out 3 and walked 3 in his earlier duties.
Kennedy's a big guy, and he just couldn't get over there, shift that way, tried to backhand it, unsuccessful, and you see what happened.
Well, Garbe trying to pick up Chet Lemon. 3-0 Tigers, first inning. Fastball and a good one, 1-2. Barbaro Garbe, part of the Cuba flotilla. The DH in the World Series and very hungry, as you can see. 0 for 11. 1-2. Kennedy started to walk away, but it was high. Oddly enough, the Tiger DHs are struggling. They are 1 for 16. But it still could be the team with the lowest DH batting average will win the series for the first time. Popped up, and it'll be Wiggins. But the Tigers get 3. Kirk Gibson's 2-run home run ignited the torch, and at the end of an inning, the Tigers 3 and the Padres nothing. There's the ovation for Kirk Gibson and his 2-run home run in the first inning. If I may make a somewhat cynical observation, however, sic transit gloria. And the Latins knew what they were talking about. All he has to do is talk to Mickey Lolich. Lolich won 3 World Series games for the Tigers. He was the talk of the town in '68. Mickey Lolich is in the last row of the upper deck down the left field line and can't see the pitcher's mound. 1 away. Another note about an early departure by a San Diego starter. Thurmond was chased so quickly. It's the earliest exit by a starter in a World Series since 1917, when Reb Russell did not retire a batter for the White Sox. And here's Kurt Bavacqua. He's had a big series, as you're well aware, after hitting only 200 during the regular season. Fastball, 1-0. Dan Petrie trying to make Sparky Anderson one for the books. Chopper foul.
You know, ball clubs got scouting reports, obviously, with advanced scouts, but it was interesting. Jack Morris, when they asked him about the slow curve he threw to Bavacqua yesterday, he said, hey, I played with him. I was on the same club. I pitched against him. I know what he was looking for, and I thought I'd throw that slow curve. He might even get hurt swinging at it.
Right. That was the great line. He said
great line.
He'll hurt himself. 1-1. Fastball. Oh, he's coming after him with heat, and the count 2 balls, 1 strike. Bavacqua played with a pretty good ball player in high school, Steve Carlton, down in North Miami. Fouled away. Kurt played second base in those days, and needless to say, Carlton was the pitcher. 2-2 to Kurt Bavacqua. 1 out in the second inning. Tigers 3, Padres nothing. There aren't very many teams to come back down 3 games to 1 in the World Series. 2-2. Line to left field, but Larry Herndon is there. Although he didn't appear too sure of it. The lights are on. We saw Bobby Brown hesitate. Take a look at this and try to catch it yourself.
His ball kind of knuckleballs out there. Sometimes the ball will do that, and Herndon is really fighting that ball. You can see he just wasn't that sure. A couple other places he had rather been, I think.
Larry has cut down his errors in left field considerably. A year ago he made 15. He only had 3 errors this year. Here's Carmelo Martinez, and it's been on-the-job training for him. Look at that. 7 strikeouts, 1 for 13. As we said at the start of the telecast, it's been a little surprising that Dick Williams stayed with Martinez and Brown all the way instead of perhaps putting Flannery at second and Wiggins in the outfield, but Dick staying with his glove. 2-0.
He looks like he's moved a little closer to the plate.
Three runs, 5 hits for the Tigers.
Now
no
he's backing
runs,
up.
1 hit. Yeah, look at there, opened up. That's the thing he was trying to get over. The stop opening up.
It's interesting that he got there and it looked like he wasn't sure of himself when he got in the batter's box. And Lance Parrish is going to go out there now and make the great speech that all catchers make to pitchers. Hey, you got a 3-run lead. Don't get smart. Just throw strikes.
You think that moving around by Martinez is an indication of what's going on inside, that he might be a little edgy?
Martinez?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course, he's had so much pressure. A youngster.
Let's take a look from this side now. See whether he opens up again.
There he goes.
Yep, he just opened. 3-0. On the corner. So he opened up, they eat the inside corner.
Now here's the pitch that he's got to really take a good whack at right here. Set himself and just nail it.
And he hits it into left field for a base hit. Over to get it is Herndon. So Carmelo Martinez gets his first hit to the outfield in the series. In fact, his first hit to the outfield since the second game of the league championship against the Cubs.
Really see the seams. Looked like a slider just stayed there.
There's Gary Templeton. 4-1. In Petrie's other game, when Templeton was the base runner, Dan Petrie balked. He won't have to worry very much about Martinez leading by 3. They're not holding him on. That's a strike.
Templeton has made up his mind, it seems like, that the fastball from the middle of the plate out, he's going to let him have it until he's got 2 strikes, but from the middle of the plate in, he's going to get a good hack.
All 5 of Templeton's hits have come left-handed. 2-1. On deck is Bobby Brown. And, of course, Brown is the hungriest hitter in town. He is 0 for 13. 2-1. 2-2.
Ball looked like it was out in the strike zone, but it was the only one that he had gotten so far that looked like it was from the inside the plate in. So, if nothing else, if you're behind that plate, that tells you that Templeton's really got it zeroed in.
And if he's going to go after a ball out of the zone, left-handed, it figures to be low. 2-2. Wouldn't go on that one. It stayed outside and high. So with 2 down, a full count, Martinez will be going. And the crowd a little uneasy because in a small ballpark, a 3-run lead can dissipate in a hurry, especially if Brown represents a tying run coming up. Martinez goes, and there's a ground ball to Evans. He'll do it himself. No runs, 1 hit, a man left. And at the end of an inning and a half, the Tigers 3, the Padres very unhappy.
Tonight, the epic of V continues with the final battle. And then the countdown begins for the thrilling premiere of V, the series.
Well, Joe, what might be considered a thread of a story has instead become a main artery. The inability of the starting pitcher of San Diego to even be around to be introduced.
And it makes it tough on the catcher because you know what his best pitch is going across the foul lines, but you have to find it out there. Kennedy hasn't had much of a chance. They're out of there before he knows what's happened.
Well, we'll take a look and see if Sparky Anderson will become the first man in history to manage championship teams in both leagues. There he is. George's daughter, Shirley, married in March. And Papa's going to be delighted to spend part of his share picking up the wedding. And Darrell Evans starting for Detroit. Ball 1. Evans, Castillo, and Whitaker against Andy Hawkins. High fly ball into deep right field. Gwynn, however, is going to make the catch. 1 away. It is a gray, overcast day in Detroit. You see Gwynn looking up a second time. The lights have been on. Oh, they turned them on an hour before the start of the game at least. Doesn't look nearly as ominous on that kind of a shot. You get more feeling now. Marty Castillo. Ball 1. One of the unsung players to inherit a hero's role when he hit his home run the other night. Fouled away. You know, when I look at the Detroit Tigers, and I guess because Sparky's the manager, some people think of them as the Cincinnati Reds. But the more you look at this ball club, the more you think of the Oakland A's. A bunt foul out of play. The Bays of, let's say, 72, 73, and 74. They had 3 big pitchers, Vida Blue, Catfish Hunter, and Ken Holtzman. They were a team that didn't hit well. In fact, in 3 straight, their highest batting average in the World Series was .212 as a team batting, but when they hit, they hurt. And you remember the 74 World Series, and Joe, you probably called the play. Remember when Bill Buckner was thrown out on a great relay from Reggie Jackson to Green to Bando. And it reminds you of the Bavacqua play being cut down in San Diego.
Basic baseball, they had it.
Unintentionally fouled away. It's still 2-2.
If it appears that Hawkins is working in a hurry, that's his style now. They want him to get the ball and come at the hitter, not nibble and just fool around. Make him hit your good stuff.
Hit it on the fists and hit it foul. In talking about teams trying to come back when they're down 3-1, both managers here know that feeling. In 1967, Dick Williams was managing the Boston Red Sox. They were down 3-1. They won 2 and then lost the championship to Bob Gibson and the Cardinals. And on the other side of the field, Sparky knows the feeling. Another foul ball. Sparky Anderson in 1972, his Reds were down 3-1. They battled back to get even, only to lose to, of all people, Dick Williams and the A's. You remember we were talking a couple of days ago about Sparky Anderson and Billy Consolo. playing on the American Legion team that won the championship here in '51. You know, there's somebody else in uniform today who played in that game. Deacon Jones of the Padres hit a grand slam home run in that game for American Legion ball. There's Deacon. He got the nickname Deacon because his dad was a deacon in the Baptist church. He was the American Legion Player of the Year in '51. He hit his first inning grand slam, only to have Sparky's team win it 11-7. Strike to Castillo. And Marty says, caramba. 2 down.
Ah, you love that as a catcher. Low fastball. If he tries to hit it over the plate, it had to be a strike. In fact, too close to tell, I'll tell you that.
Here's Lou Whitaker, the brand new daddy. Ball 1.
I said tell. Take is what I meant. Too close to take. You got
how?
2 strikes, you got to whack.
Like every ball player, you take, you're fooled, so you go to first, right?
Right.
High pop fly. Back a second. Templeton digging, but Brown coming. Bobby Brown. And the Tigers go quietly in the second, but they already had a belly full. At the end of 2, 3-0 Detroit. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
The passion, the revenge, the epic love story A.D., the television event of 1985, coming on NBC.
Complete World Series highlights Sunday night on Sports Final Edition.
The Goodyear Blimp America from Houston, Texas. Pilot Captain John Moran from Spring, Texas. The stewardess Mickey Whitman. The America, one of only 4 Goodyear blimps in the world. Bobby Brown, Alan Wiggins, and Tony Gwynn. And the at-bats for Bobby Brown have become a litany of frustration. He is 0 for 13 as he chops it behind the bag to Trammell and beats it out. So Bobby finally breaks through. Trammell kind of let the ball come to him. He played it very easy.
And it's a tribute to Bobby Brown, who's had a tough time, but he just kept hustling. You see Trammell waiting for it, and Brown didn't put his head down as if to say, well, another out. When is something good going to happen? He tried to make something happen, and he hustled down there, and he beats it out. Trammell did not charge the ball. Brown hustled it, and Brown breaks the ice.
So Brown aboard. Alan Wiggins. I keep thinking I've seen this movie before. Maybe 4 other times. Castillo looking bunt. Ball 1. Each day, it seems, the Tigers score in the first inning. They knock out the San Diego starter. And then the Tigers stand around, and the Padres keep getting men on base and rallying and falling short. 1-0. Ground ball to the hole. There's Whitaker, and he will just go to first. Just about impossible to double up Wiggins. He hit into only 2, and the toughest man in the majors.
And one of the things that he did, it didn't get a good grip on that ball. We'll see it here. The ground ball, he almost loses it in the webbing. Right there, and he says, well, I'll just get the sure out.
So 1 down. Brown at second base. Tony Gwynn trying to pick him up. Gwynn struck out on a bad ball with Wiggins stealing. And it's rare to see Tony go down on strike. Breaking ball. He wouldn't chase it. Ball 1.
Among the many things you can say about Whitaker, especially on a play like that last one, he does have soft hands.
Soft hands. First time I heard that was about Terry Moore.
Oh, yeah.
1-0. A shot down to short. Trammell will go to first in the dirt and dug out by Evans. Taking third, Bobby Brown. So Steve Garvey will be coming up.
Good backhand play. The short hop with that big mitt. I'll tell you, inch or so this side, and he doesn't get it.
Give you an idea how good Dave Bergman is because he goes in for defensive purposes.
Yeah, well, you can see because Bergman does have that gold glove.
Evans, of course, plays first and third. Here is Garvey, and he's a very hungry hitter. As we mentioned, he has failed to pick up an RBI now in a considerable number of at-bats. And he had a runner at third with 1 out in the first inning, and the out was recorded at the plate. And he slashes one to the hole, knocked down, and that's all, and the run is in. To give Garvey a couple of opportunities, you know he's going to pick somebody up. It's a base hit, an RBI, and it's Tigers 3, Padres 1.
Even if Trammell comes up with it, his momentum would have carried him far too much towards third base for him to make a play at first. That's a base hit all the way.
You know, the Padres, counting the league championship series, are 0-4 on the road. And they have never been ahead on the road against either the Cubs or the Tigers. And with that run coming over, it's only the 7th run that they've scored on the road. So it's been a bad road show for them.
That run's a big one in many ways. Cracks the ice, of course, but you only need 1 base runner for that tying run to get at the plate.
And you all go back to the hustle of Bobby Brown. He could have quit and said, oh, there I go again. And the shortstop throw him out. 0-1. 1-1. Nettles, of course, in this kind of a situation, he can get you even with 1 swing. Bobby sitting in the shadows there, in the back without the hat. Gary Templeton in the forefront. That's Deacon Jones. One and one. Ball 2, 2-1. Tigers 3 run, 5 hits. A bomb from Gibson with a man aboard. The Padres 1 run, 4 hits. Two and 1. 3-1. Nettles likes the ball up, but he likes it up and in a little bit.
And right about now, he becomes especially dangerous with Kennedy on deck, because Nettles is a good cripple shooter. 2-0, 3-1. He'll give you a good rip if it's his pitch.
Garvey at first, Evans not holding. And he wouldn't bite. Bad ball. So now the tying runs are aboard. And Terry Kennedy coming up. And Roger Cray going out to the mound. While they visit, we have a chance to talk about Terry Kennedy. It's kind of one for the books. Terry Kennedy and his dad, Bob, also a big league ball player. There have been 9 father and son combinations to play in the World Series. But only the Kennedys, Bob and Terry, the only father and son combination where each had at least 1 RBI in the World Series. Kennedy, of course, had a double to drive in 2 and a home run. Needless to say, Bob is here. Aurelio Lopez is up in the pen. Though evidently Petrie is struggling as far as Sparky is concerned. He's been behind on 9 of the 13 hitters he's faced. That's cause for concern. Kennedy grounded out in the 2nd inning. He finds Nettles at first, Garvey at second, 2 out, and a run in. 3-1 Detroit. Fastball, and he hit it to Trammell, who goes to Whitaker. Kennedy hit an outside pitch, tried to pull it, and grounded it the other way. He wasn't going that way at all. 1 run, 2 hits, 2 left. And at the end of 2.5, Tigers 3, Padres 1.
You may know who got the most hits, who stole the most bases, who caught or missed the most balls. But do you know which company's financial strength protects every single major league ball player? It is the Equitable that helps them live the good life.
That's the official family in the front row at the glass is Ballard Smith, his wife Linda, and behind you see Carol McKeon and Jack McKeon, Trader Jack. That's the official San Diego family. Mrs. Kroc, Joan Kroc, I'm sure she's in the ballpark somewhere. No, she went to New York, maybe.
You know, Mrs. Kroc, besides owning the ball club, is also a movie producer. Ball 1. And if Joan Kroc, the owner of the Padres, is producing a movie, what do you think it's about? Owner of the Padres.
Religious thing?
A priest. It's called Mass Appeal, and Jack Lemmon is going to play the priest.
She didn't call me.
You didn't get the call on it? Well, I'll be. Andy Hawkins got the call a lot earlier than he wanted. 2-0, the count to Alan Trammell. Right.
Not many people going to hit that pitch. Low outside, right on the corner.
We have more breeze right now. I don't know if that's a harbinger of things to come. High fly ball into right center, and looking up and calling is Gwynn, but so is Brown. Oh, they almost had an Alphonse and Gaston act out there. So in watching Herndon and now looking here, there's trouble out there.
Brown is hollering, and now he's going to hear Gwynn. He says, I got it, I got it. Now he hears Gwynn, and Tony was checking to see how close he was, and he almost overran it.
Brown said, you got it, you take it. One away.
Balls like that, you don't want a whole lot of conversation. It's I got it, and then zip it up.
And yet, normally on every ball club, the center fielder's the captain out there. He takes anything he can get to, right?
Right, he runs everybody else off. In fact, when Willie Mays was playing, he caught everything from the polo grounds at Kennedy Airport.
That flag is 125 feet in the air, and there's a fairly good breeze blowing out to left field. 2-0 to Gibson, with a powered one upstairs to right center. Gibson has 4 RBIs in the series. Fastball away, ball 3. Andy Hawkins will watch his delivery. Here's a 3-0 pitch. Ball 4. The reason we were watching his delivery, when he was an unsuccessful pitcher, Hawkins would go into his windup and then drop his right hand below his belt buckle. Watch this now. See where his hand goes. See it stay up above the belt? That's the big change, apparently, in his delivery. Boy, a little thing can make a big difference. I mean, who'd ever think of just the hand up above the belt?
Dropping your shoulder when you're driving it.
Here's Parrish, and they'll watch Gibson.
He shortened his backswing is what he did.
You want to give me a little hip music? A little Hawaiian stuff?
No, nothing like that.
All right. Gibson stole 29 during the regular year. So the 2 Michigan Staters, Garvey holding the bag. We're watching his hip. He was doing a lot of shaking there, wasn't he?
Well, he does a lot of things. He digs in with that left foot. He'll paw almost every time. He will build something, and he'll deke a little bit. You're going to have to watch him now.
After your comments, he'll really do it now, I'm sure.
There he goes, digging in.
Watch the hip. Didn't have a chance, really. It's 3-1 Detroit in the 3rd.
This gives you something to watch when you go to the ballpark.
Hey, I'm hip.
Well,
1-1. Big banner in left field earlier today. It said, "No jive, I'm alive." Boy, is ever Detroit. You know, the thing about that hip movement, though, Joe, even if you saw it, how can you cash in on it? I mean, it's so slight, you could read the tip-off through the lens easy. 2-1. But he doesn't do it. The catcher can't do it.
Well, all you do, you get alerted. I'll tell you right now, hip movement or not, Kennedy better be ready right here.
Oh, yeah. 2 balls, 1 strike. This is a perfect situation. Unless Kennedy wants to call a pitch out, which is doubtful.
Look out.
And the Hawk goes over there. Tigers 3, Padres 1, bottom of the 3rd, 1 out. 2-1 to Lance Parrish.
Going.
leaning. Not gone. High fly ball into shallow left field. Martinez is there. 2 down.
You got to like this Hawkins, I'll tell you that. He's got a good live arm. He's a young fella, and when you talk to him, they all talk about it was a matter of confidence that he just lost it. That young, you can see where that can happen, but you can regain it in a hurry. And brother, if he doesn't have it now, he never will have it, but he's got it.
You know, a footnote to Hawkins and Lefferts. They retired 24 of the 26 hitters they faced back in Game 2. Can't get much better than that. Here's Herndon. Singled in that wild first inning when the Tigers got 3 or 1. One and 0. Herndon is from a great name town, Sunflower, Mississippi. Two and 0. Isn't that something? But of course, if you put the wreckage of the starters up there, it's a totally different story. And the reason why the Padres are down 3 games to 1 and why the Tigers are leading 3-1 right now. 2-0 to Larry Herndon. Foul back. 2-1. We mentioned it in the aftermath of the first game. Larry Herndon is so quiet, so shy, so retiring. And when he hit the home run in the first game in San Diego, they tell me he left the park in uniform and he had his clothing delivered to the hotel. I mean, that's being retiring.
And it's not that he's upset and doesn't want to talk to anybody. It's just his nature, and you have to respect that.
Oh, he's a good fellow. First thing he said was, hey, that was Jack Morris' game. 2-1 to Larry. And there goes Gibson. Ground ball to the hole, backhanded by Templeton, and guns him out. Boy, what a pleasure to watch him throw the ball.
And the count was 2 balls and 1 strike. Manager's delight.
A walk to Gibson, and they leave him. And at the end of 3, Tigers 3, Padres 1.
America's favorite pastime returns to NBC Sports as the nation's top bowlers aim at nearly $1 million in prize money. Jay Randolph and 6-time Bowler of the Year and Bowler of the Decade Earl Anthony host the PBA Fall Tour. Premieres next Saturday on NBC.
We have 3 innings in the books, and the Tigers are leading 3-1 as evening slowly descends upon Detroit. And despite the fact we have a very gray sky and there are birds flying directly overhead.
All the guys say the same thing. It's a line that's as old as I can remember. When the birds fly overhead, those guys always say, those are the vultures, and they know my arm's dead. Get away, birds. Get away from my arm.
There they are.
There they are.
If we were in Los Angeles, San Diego, San Francisco, I'd figure there was a storm out in the ocean and the birds would come in. There are a lot of them flying overhead, and we go to the 4th. Bavacqua would have something to say about those birds.
He'd have something to say about anything.
Bavacqua, Martinez, and Templeton. Hit the ball pretty hard, went out to left field in the 2nd inning. 4-1. Dan Petrie trying to lead the Tigers to a championship. 1-0. You know, if the Tigers should win today, they would really become a home team to the pleasure of their fans. They clinch their division at home. They clinch the pennant at home. And here they are trying to clinch it in the World Series at home.
Petrie falling behind. Sparky, I'm going to get that bullpen going in a hurry, I'll guarantee you, and make a quick move because he'd like to nail it down, obviously.
Lopez was up back of him in the third inning. And look at there, Craig on the phone. A strike. The only other team to do that, winning all the big ones at home, the 1969 New York Mets. And there is Aurelio Lopez, number 29, ready to go back to work. 3-1. All four, and he's going to have company is Lopez. Bill Shearer gets up to join him.
Well, you can see Sparky's thinking every base runner. You got the tying run at the plate, a home run, you're tied up.
So Bavacqua standing at first. Sparky's really working that gum. I know it's gum and not chewing tobacco because at the start of the game he blew the biggest bubble I've ever seen him. He's really working on some. Carmelo Martinez singled in the second inning. He has 2 hits in the series. And he's back to opening up. Look at that left foot. And immediately Petrie takes advantage of it.
Well, starting him out there, he's going to try to hit the outside corner, and if he catches him leaning a little bit, he'll bust it in on his hands. They've just been flip-flopping. If the 2 fastballs are inside, they go outside. They start outside, they go back inside.
0-1 to Carmelo. And a good breaking ball on the outside corner.
Whoa, that's the second one. Now you can go either way. I mean, that's a hard slider, and they clocked it at 93. And you can really see that thing break from up here. You can tell the rotation of it. You can almost see that little World Series logo on that baseball.
0-2 to Martinez. Wouldn't bite after a good slider because that's the one you have a tendency to chase when you're down 2 strikes.
I'd say the kid's between a hard place and a rock, though, because the 3 pitches have been out there. He almost went for that one. He starts to lean a little bit. He just saw that bat right off in his hands.
Evans behind Bavacqua. Nobody out. Fouled away. Another breaking ball. Only this one he came inside with. So that's 4 in a row.
He missed with that one. He didn't want it where he got it. 4 breaking balls in a row. And you can watch Parrish when he gives the sign. If he stays on that outside part of the plate, it's a breaking ball. And then if he comes inside, obviously it's a fastball.
And remember, it was a bad slider that Bavacqua hit for the 3-run home run in the 5th inning back in San Diego. 1-2. 3-1 Tigers, top of the 4th. Fastball, and got him on a foul tip.
Stayed outside the whole time.
So that's a little lesson. Dan Petrie going to the chalkboard. And for Martinez, he's going to the dugout with his 8th strikeout.
He really worked on him, and he's got something on this one. High up. Looks good coming there. Tough pitch to handle high outside. Had a good cut, didn't get it.
Here now is Gary Templeton, notorious first ball hitter. Let's see what happens here. Ball 1.
Middle of that played out. He's zoned in, I'll tell you. You got to like Templeton.
Traded from St. Louis to San Diego for the Wizard of Oz, Ozzie Smith. Bavacqua at first, Evans back of him. Lined into left center, sinking, and that's in there for a base hit. Since he's gone away, he falls down. That allows Templeton to get to second, and stopping at third is Bavacqua. Herndon was going away from his play. He tried to twist his upper torso to get the ball back to the infield, and he fell down while trying to do it. It's a double for Templeton.
Good piece of hitting. Take a look at the replay. Herndon runs it down. He loses a little bit of footing right there. Whoops. And I'll tell you, they're not going to fool around with Petrie a whole lot of time here. Herndon did everything he could to get it back to that infield, but it was an easy 2-base hit for Templeton.
So now you have Bobby Brown on the spot again. It was Bobby's hustle for a base hit that gave the Padres a run in the 3rd. He has a chance to tie it up with a base hit now. Off speed, fouled away. Pretty good pitch, especially to a fellow who is not hitting. You know how anxious Bobby must be up there. And Petrie takes advantage of it. And 0 for 5. Of course, he's left a lot of men on. Now he's trying to pick up the tying run. Bavacqua at third, Templeton at second. Fastball, and that's hit to left center. Lemon on the run, flags it. Tagging is Bavacqua to score, holding is Templeton. So Brown just hit in tough luck. He drilled that ball.
Lemon closed the gap in a hurry. Sacrifice fly. It's a 3-2 ball game. Brown not trying to pull that ball, which was his intent before the game. Just go with the pitch. He did. Looked like he was going to plug the gap. Lemon made a good play. Here you see Chet breaking over, plugging the gap. But it was not before. Bavacqua was able to score the second run.
So now Alan Wiggins trying to pick up his buddy Gary Templeton and get the Padres even. It's 3-2 Detroit. We're in the fourth inning. 4-1. Wiggins single, stole second, took third on the overthrow, but was cut down at the plate, and last time up, grounded out. Castillo with 2 out is even with the bag. They're not looking bunt now. 2-0.
Wiggins has been great in sending the ball back up the middle. That's been his spot.
They had a look at Ozzie Virgil. Petrie continues to be behind on most of his hitters. A dangerous way to go, pitching uphill. 2 balls, no strike. Fastball, hit into left center. Lemon was shallow. Here comes Templeton. Lemon's throw cut off by Evans. He goes to Trammell. It gets away, and it's finally retrieved by Lemon. Whitaker tried to glove it and couldn't, and the Padres have tied it up.
And the Tigers have to be thinking, as you see this ball going to left center field. Here comes Sparky. Lemon, a good throw. It's cut off as Evans wants to get Wiggins going into second base, but they can't handle it. Tigers have to be thinking, Vin, about the Cub-Padre series when the Padres were down. But remember, this ball club, they showed you, they got a lot of dogs. I mean, they're tenacious, a lot of bulldog in them.
Well, they were down 3-0 to Rick Sutcliffe, and they were able to pull the rug out from under him. And they were down 3-0, and they have at least chased Dan Petrie and Bill Shearer, the left-hander, will be coming in after we watch Gary Templeton bring home the tying run.
The essence of hitting. George Brett.
Some guys say it's the rhythm, reading the pitch. For me, it's a feeling that says I'm going downtown.
The essence of shaving.
This is Atra by Gillette. It pivots so the twin blades stay on your beard longer. But what Atra is all about is the feeling that says you just got Gillette's best shave.
Gillette, the essence of shaving.
Bill Shearer missing on his first pitch to Tony Gwynn. 1 ball and no strikes. Gwynn struck out and grounded out, trying to give the Padres something they're really not familiar with, a lead. It's 3-3. Off speed and a high fly ball. Gibson going back to the track, and he's got it. So the Padres scramble for 2 in the fourth and get even. And remember, they also had a man thrown out at the plate. And at the end of 3.5, Padres 3, Tigers 3. We're going to the bottom of the fourth inning. Sparky just hollering, come on, Chester, let's go. It'll be Lemon, and we'll see about Garbe because Johnny Grubb is on deck. Dick Williams, meanwhile, has entrusted the tie to Andy Hawkins. Lemon, Grubb, and Evans figure to be coming up against Hawkins. Fastball inside and a shock disbelief. There's Johnny Grubb. Lemon singled in the first inning, picked up an RBI. He has 4 hits in the series. 0-1. Line drive at Nettles. Oh, was there smoke on that?
That was self-defense. He had to catch that. That was right at him. You talk about hitting it right on the nose. And Nettles, he just kind of looked at it after he caught it and said, hey, don't be coming down there so fast. Here's
that
a
had
great
to
shot.
hurt, don't you think? It looked like it was a heavy ball. Watch it sink right there.
Caught in the webbing.
Like it was made of steel. And Johnny Grubb, a former Padre, coming up. He's a #1 Tiger pinch hitter. He hit .381 during the regular year, including 3 home runs coming off the bench. Of course, the Padres know all about him. One out, 4th inning, 3-3. Good fastball. Oh, that really was rising, too.
He's got a good live arm, and that's why they say don't nibble, just go right at him. Your stuff is good enough, you don't have to nibble.
That got him. Yep, hit by the pitch. 0-2, tried to come inside and came too far inside.
That was a slider. You could see it starting to bite his way in there, and Grubb hanging in there, gets hit on the left elbow.
The Grubb goes to first the hard way, hit by the pitch. And Darrell Evans will be coming up with 1 out, a runner aboard. Evans, you remember, skied a fly ball deep to right that Tony Gwynn caught in the 2nd inning. 3-3, bottom of the 4th. The Padres trying to stay alive. High fly ball, it's playable, and Tony Gwynn actually coming up for it.
Evans I was going to say, Vin Evans has a great swing for this ballpark, and he's really going for the long one. Had a good swing, but got under it. And he's just disgusted. He knows that he got under it, and it's playable.
That must be awful to get the pitch you know you can drive and just miss it.
And get under it.
There's Marty Castillo. He struck out in the 2nd inning. Borderline pitch, remember, 3-2. He was caught looking. Does he look a little bit like Darrell Evans? He does to me.
I agree with you on that one.
I noticed you said on that one, with emphasis.
Well, Billy Consolo, to me, does not look like Art Wilhelm.
Well, now the secret's out.
We have no secrets.
No. 0-1 to Marty Castillo. 2 down. Johnny Grubb at first. Castillo with the big 2-run home run Friday night. Oh, after the fastball and the slider, he comes up with a change like that. You talk about dirty pool.
That's the pitch he's working on. That's the pitch that you'll see him throw a lot of beginning in spring training. He gets the humor, he'll be throwing that a lot. There's the slow. You see how he had the grip? It's like a 3-finger grip, almost like a pound ball.
0-2. And that's hit into right field. Base hit. Grubb is to second. They'll hold him. The throw to Templeton.
I was talking to Jack McKeon before the game, the general manager, about Tony Gwynn, and we were talking about outfield play. He said he has made and is making himself a better outfielder. For one thing, he'll charge anything in sight and get that ball back in a hurry, and that's exactly what he did there. Youngster is a good hitter, pretty obvious by the way he led the league, but he still takes extra batting practice before every game. He said, I just have to get loose.
Well, here's Lou Whitaker, singled in the 1st inning and fly to center in the 2nd. He comes up with runners at 1st and 2nd. Castillo at 1st. Grubb hit by the pitches at 2nd. Whitaker hitting .294 in the series. Change. 1-0. Brand new daughter Sarah and Norm Sherry going out to the mound to talk to Hawkins.
Usually when that happens, really not that much going on, and the pitching coach jumps off the bench, it's because the manager was groaning, and they've got some action in the bullpen. Lefferts is starting to throw, but they're going to wonder, why are you throwing changes? Well, what's in your mind? I just want to know, because that's a groaner's pitch.
See how quick he's warming up. I don't think he's trying to get ready to catch Whitaker, but he's certainly getting ready for Gibson.
That change of pace may have been a message to the bench that something was up.
There's the scorecard. Williams, of course, thinking, okay, I got Whitaker here, but then I have the right-hand hitting Trammell coming up, so I'll stay with Hawkins, and then if I'm still in trouble and they have Gibson, I can counter with Leffers. Maybe. 1 ball and no strike. Ball 2. One thing you know, Williams cannot afford to play any kind of a waiting game. Not today. He'd be left at the station. 2 on. Castillo at first, Grubb at second. 2 out, 3-3 in the 4th. And Hawkins now is in a lot of trouble. There's Alan Trammell. Boy, you talk about the horns of a dilemma. 3-0 to Whitaker and Trammell waiting in the wings. Ball 4, and the bases are loaded. Well, they always talk about the bullfighter and the moment of truth, where he stands there with cape and sword looking over the horns of a bull. It is the moment of truth for Andy Hawkins as Trammell comes up with the bases loaded. 2 out, 3-3 in the 4th. High fly ball. It's playable. Bobby Brown is there. And the Padres get out of the cave. And Andy Hawkins looked right down the throat of the Tiger and got away with it. And at the end of 4, 3-3. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
Tonight, the epic of V continues with the final battle. And then the countdown begins for the thrilling premiere of V, the series.
Chris arrests Mr. Science Monday at 4:30 on Barney Miller.
We're going to the 5th inning in a tied-up ball game. And Bill Shearer working on Steve Garvey, Greg Nettles, and Terry Kennedy. You know, just thinking of one of the most remarkable set of coincidences, I think, in baseball history, as Garvey hits a towering fly ball, but it's a runway out there for Lemon. 1 away. We're in the 5th inning of Game 5. Now, how about this for an oddity? Go back to 1952. Carl Erskine is celebrating his 5th wedding anniversary. He's going to pitch the game. In the 5th inning, the Yankees score 5 runs on 5 hits. Dodgers win the game 6-5. Erskine goes all the way. Time of the game, 3 hours. It started at 2:05. So it ended at 5 after 5. So you can always remember Erskine's anniversary.
Yes, you can. Then he went to the racetrack and bet number 5.
And went right down the tubes.
Finished 5th.
1-1. 1 out in the 5th. 3-3 tie. Each side with a half a dozen hits. Two and 1 to Greg Nettles. Grounded out and walked. Bill Shearer. His first 2 years in the Reds organization was Sparky's last 2 years in it. There's a drive to center, sinking base hit. The 1-out single by Nettles. And that'll bring up Terry Kennedy. Here's Bill's number. The Tigers acquired him from the Reds after the start of the year. Back in '83 as a rookie, he saved 10 games for Cincinnati, and Roger Craig is going to pay him a visit.
Way Roger's walking out there, it's like he's going to buy a little bit of time before Lopez comes in, who's just kind of throwing some loosening up pitches. He's been throwing down in the bullpen, and then when Sparky made the change, he sat down, and it's not going to take him much to get loose.
That's the 3rd time Lopez has been up in 5 innings. So he's probably close to being ready. After the left-hand hitting Kennedy, Lopez looking ahead would figure to get a call. Bavacqua, Martinez, right-hand batter. Templeton switches, as you know. There's Kennedy grounded out and hit into a force play. 3-3. Nettles, who does not run well at first, with a left-hand hitter up. Evans not holding the bag. Slow curve, fouled away. If you watched the special feature yesterday about relief pitchers, they were talking about funky, the modern-day slang of people like Quisenberry. When Russ Nixon had Bill Shearer at Cincinnati, he said Shearer has a funky breaking ball. I don't know what the definition is. 0-1. Well, that might be it.
Kennedy just agreed. Here with the super duper slow-mo, you might see a funky pitch.
Wherever you are, Russ Nixon, this one's for you. 0-2. And another one tapped slowly to Shearer. He's got a play at first. Trammell set the glove up, saying, "Come to me." And Shearer either forgot about it or just was afraid to go back there.
He just made up his mind he was going to go to first base. There's nothing you can do at shortstop. He's probably saying to Nettles, can you imagine that? I had my glove up and didn't throw it to him.
Here comes Sparky.
Here comes Sparky, and it's going to be a pitching change.
He would say to himself, hey, if you're not going to go back to second base, you're gone.
Now, he's got time here because Kennedy's not that good a runner. He's got plenty of time, and there's Trammell's glove. He's saying, give it to me. He had a play, but he decided to go to first base.
Friday on Miami Vice.
It's a hit list, and you're on.
On the corner, two strangers meet.
Miami Vice, Friday.
Well, now there's a Tiger you can hold. Talking about holding, that's his responsibility. Aurelio Lopez trying to hold the Padres with a runner at second and a 3-3 tie. Lopez picked up for Petrie in game 2. He went 2/3 of an inning in that game, did not give up a run. However, he gave up a base hit and a walk, and he got away with it.
He's a power pitcher, throws hard. He was the pitcher who made that one pitch on the pitch out that got Larry Barnett with Templeton swinging. If you look at Roger Craig.
Kurt Bavacqua is the batter, flied to left and walked. Lopez had a 10-game winning streak, the longest in the American League this year. 0-1. Nettles at second, 2 out. 3-3, top of the 5th. Ball 2. Notice how that leg seems to shimmer and shake on his delivery. It's all part of his rhythm. His left leg really does little number. 2-1 to Bavacqua. Nettles at second. 2 out. Fouled away. 2-2.
It'll take a pretty good base hit to score Nettles from second base. He will be off with the crack at the bat because of 2 outs, but we could see a play at the plate because they're not that deep for Bavacqua.
Bavacqua flied to left in the second inning, hit the ball hard, and walked in the 4th, came around and scored a run. 2-2. Half swing, got him. So Lopez strikes out Bavacqua. Nettles left at second base. And at the end of 4.5, it's still 3-3.
They are the prodigies of racing's true champions, the sons and daughters of Northern Dancer, of Seattle Slew, of Alydar. This fall, the bloodline will be tested and new champions will be born. The Breeders' Cup, November 10th on NBC.
Boy, what an afternoon at the races. Mark that one down, November the 10th. And we've got ourselves quite a race now. 3-3, bottom of the fifth, and the big cats coming up. Gibson and Parrish and Herndon. Gibson hit a 2-run home run in the first inning and walked in the third.
And this Gibson, a talented ball player. He's had a great year. He can do it all with the home run. He even tries to beat out a lot of bunts from a la Mickey Mantle.
So Nettles plays about even with the bag at third. The right side, however, deep. Ball one. Andy Hawkins, you remember, got Trammell with the bases loaded. But what you have to look for now is whether he expended all of his gasoline. That needle could be on empty in a hurry after that last inning. Fouled away, 1-1. Sparky trying to win it in both leagues. And Dick Williams trying to stay alive to do it.
In a game like this, when I see those managers, I think of that old baseball line. They get paid half for winning, half for worrying, and nothing for losing.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? In fact, when you think about it, there are only two people who are really involved with winning and losing. The pitcher, because he lives by wins and losses, and the manager. Nobody else, really. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Fastball off the glove of Nettles. Deflected into shallow left. Run down by Templeton, and holding is Gibson with a base hit.
Well, that great speed pulled Nettles in, and he hit it hard that way. You doubt if Nettles could have come up with it playing back. He got a glove on it, but he was in tight, and there's no doubt about it being a base hit, and they respect the speed. Watch how quickly he gets that ball in, Templeton.
And, of course, it's a sign that Gibson is really developing as a hitter. The fact that he went the other way after pulling a home run to right center.
Hey, they did a job on him as far as attitude. He's had the ability, and he is really a determined young man. And he's working on all the facets of baseball. He keeps the way he's going. He's going to be a tremendous star.
So here's Parrish, and in the bullpen, Craig Lefferts is throwing again. And remember that tough inning that Hawkins had in the fourth. How many times we've seen a pitcher fight his way through an inning and have nothing left the following inning. Three runs, 7 hits for each side. Lefferts in the pen. Gibson held on by Garvey. Fouled right into Kennedy's mask. Lance with his 33 home runs during the regular year, hitting .267 in the series. On 1. High drive in the left field. Martinez on the grass, on the track, makes the catch. Gibson tags, going to second. He's in there.
Once again, Gibson's speed pays off. He was right on top of that bag when he began to slide, but the scouting report has been that you can run on the outfielders. I wouldn't be surprised to see him appeal the play once they get set and get it going. Thinking if Gibson left early, at least it'd be worth an ask.
No one hollering from the dugout, and that's a usual sign. The Padres are very quiet. So evidently they're not going to appeal. The whole club would be up if they thought Gibson did leave early.
I did it on general principles.
Yeah. Larry Herndon single to center, grounded to short. Good backhand save on that one by Kennedy. Both catchers have made some marvelous stops behind the plate. Never get credit, never get a mention. Never even get a ripple of applause. 1-0. Why in the world does anybody want to be a catcher?
Because he started out on the playground as a fat kid. There's no other place they play you.
Like, why does anybody play the tuba or the bass fiddle? Thank goodness they do. So Gibson at second, 1 out in the fifth, a 3-3 tie. and low fastballs, and he's behind 3-0. On deck is Chet Lemon. So Gibson slashed one of Nettles' glove, and Parrish sent Martinez to the track. And the count 3-0 to Herndon. So with Gibson at second, you definitely have the feeling that Hawkins is laboring a bit. And he walked it. And here comes Dick Williams, and I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if Hawkins' needle is on empty and he's gone. We'll see.
Oh, he's got to make the change, because that's not Hawkins that has been out here in the other games. He is kind of struggling. He's kind of aiming the ball, and Williams has to go right now. He can't second-guess himself. Leffert will be in this game.
I can't tell you how many times you sit upstairs and you see a pitcher get out of a really tough jam, and all you have to do is wait. And a lot of times he has spent it all, and Hawkins has spent everything with 58 pitches. He's gone. Now there's a guy in a hurry. The other fella kind of like to hang around.
In my baseball career, I was traded 9 times. But wherever I went, one thing was always the same. Everyone drank light beer from Miller. In Boston, they said the best thing about light was it's got 1/3 less calories than their regular beer. In L.A., they said the best thing was light's less filling. But I think the best thing is it tastes great, right here in New York City.
Ken, this isn't New York.
Chicago.
No.
Milwaukee. Kansas City?
Light beer from Miller.
Omaha?
Everything you always wanted in a beer,
Spokane.
and less.
Utica?
Our blimp sailing serenely overhead. Inside Tiger Stadium, things on the wild side. Direct contrast. You have Kirk Gibson at second base. 1 out. You have Larry Herndon at first base. And you have Chet Lemon coming up. Greg Lefferts is now in his 3rd game. He was in Whitson's game. He went 3 innings, allowed just 1 hit and struck out 5. And he was also in Shaw's game and worked 2 hitless innings.
You'll see a pretty good screwball that he's come up with, and he can change speeds with it, so it gives him really 2 extra pitches.
Lefferts born in Munich, West Germany. Screwball. 1-0. 1 away in the 5th inning, 3-3.
You like to see a guy run in. He really overdoes it the way he comes in, but it makes your ball club look good, like, hey, don't worry about it. I'm here, man. I'll get him. Some guys, they figure, uh-oh, why me?
1 ball, no strike. Scroogie away, ball 2. You wonder sometimes in a fresher spot how many ball players would say, don't hit it to me.
There are enough. One is too many on a ball club, but there are enough.
2 balls and no strike to Chet Lemon. And now he's in trouble. 3-0. He might not be so happy he ran in.
He's going to regroup now. He knows he's in a jackpot. Lemon took a good look at Grammas, but you tend to doubt that he turned him loose 3-0.
Lemon 3-0 and a left-hand hitter on deck. Remember, Johnny Grubb batted for Garvey. Gibson at second, Herndon at first, 1 out. Strike. Up around the armpits in the high portion of the zone.
Here comes a very, very difficult pitch that he's going to have to make. Here's the 3-0 pitch. 3-1. He's got to throw something besides the fastball, and he's got to get it over for a strike.
And he walked him. The bases are loaded with 1 out. So the Tigers had the bases loaded with 2 out in the 4th. Now the bases loaded and 1 out in the 5th. Rusty Kuntz coming up, and Dick Williams twisting and turning again as he chews on his sunflower seed. Sparky's been doing a little chewing and a little spitting himself. The Rusty Kuntz that played at Cal State. There are 19 Cal State campuses. He played at Cal State Stanislaus.
Very popular ball player here because he's come through with some big hits, and he's also the good humor man. He's always happy, gives you enough of that down-home kind of talk to really become popular.
Look at his numbers. No wonder he's popular. They got him from the Minnesota Twins last December. He originally broke in with the White Sox. Standing room only on the base paths. Gibson at third, Herndon at second, Lemon at first. Garvey and Nettles are up. Templeton and Wiggins are back in double play depth. And the crowd beside itself. One out. Boy, you talk about having a tiger by the tail. Look out here. High pop fly. Out goes Wiggins. Makes the catch, and coming to the plate and scoring is Gibson. I can't believe that Wiggins caught that ball.
I don't know why Gwynn didn't run him off the play. Gwynn is coming into the play.
He had an easy play if he comes in and catches it, unless he lost the ball.
I don't think he lost it. Wiggins went out, as all good infielders should, and get run off the play. And Gwynn did not run him off the play.
Boy, what a surprise. And Williams has to be surprised. Where was his right fielder?
Well, now Wiggins goes out. He's got to go out until he gets run off the play, and he's not run off the play. He was running away, had to turn around, and Gibson didn't even hesitate.
Of course, that shot doesn't show you where in the world was Tony Gwynn. He had an easy play. Wiggins was going away from home. Gwynn was coming into the play.
Well, he's right next to him. He could have made the play. Now Lefferts backs up the play. Now watch Gwynn. There you see how close they are.
You know what? He lost it. I'll tell you why he did. When the ball was halfway to right field, he stuck his hands out. It was as if, I don't know where it is. I really feel that Tony Gwynn lost the ball after I saw his gesture. The only excuse for letting the second baseman take that play. So it is 4-3 Detroit. Foul back by Darrell. Take another look. Watch his arm. Well, I think that's after the fact. Yeah, it is. It's before that Gwynn put his hands out. You have it, but you have to see the very beginning. Big play. Meanwhile, Herndon at second and Lemon at first. Ball one, 1-2.
Don't overlook Gibson's speed on all this. Remember, Gibson, he went to second on a fly ball to left field, went to third on the walk and a pop fly. His speed paid off.
Oh, sure. And it's going to especially pay off on a second baseman throwing from right field. Strike three called, and what a big play that pop fly becomes. The Tigers should not have scored, but they did. And at the end of 5, Detroit 4 and the Padres 3.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
Friday on Miami Vice.
It's a hit list, son, and you're on it.
Friday. They were the perfect family, a loving husband, beautiful wife, laughing, happy kids, until one terrible night. Fatal Vision, November 18th.
I know it's tough to see, but look at the picture of Gwynn. See his right hand? Well, not only did the right hand go out, one frame later, so did the left hand go. Both hands went out almost in supplication, as if to say, help me. And I really think that's the turning point, maybe of the whole year. It's 4-3 Detroit. Carmelo Martinez, Gary Templeton, and Bobby Brown due up. Fouled away, 0-2.
It certainly is a play that I think 100 times this year he's made.
Oh, sure.
Because you just run the infielder off the play. It didn't happen. and there has to be a reason.
And I'm sure Gibson was tagging, thinking, if he takes it, I got a hold. Second baseman catches it, he's gone. 0-2 to Carmelo Martinez. He singled and struck out in the dirt. Oh, that might have hurt Parrish. Let me tell you, he blocked that, but I think he took it. There is Gwynn. Parrish down on one knee.
It did sting a bit, the way he threw that ball back to the pitcher. That's the way you tell him, come on, give me a 60-footer, not a 55-foot curveball.
The worst one, it bounced and came straight up the elevator shaft. 1-2. Line foul into the seats in the left field corner. Still 1-2. And Martinez checking his bat, finds there's a crack in it. $51,901 the paid attendance. So Martinez with a new stick. 1-2 the count. Four, 3 Tigers, top of the 6th. Breaking ball, got him looking. And that kid has had some series. He has struck out 9 times. Friends, this telecast presented by authority of Major League Baseball may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of Major League Baseball. Now, if you're going to let an infielder go out and run an outfielder off the ball, this might be a guy who could get away with it because Templeton has a great arm. Grounded out and doubled, 1 for 2.
But it's always the momentum that's a factor, too, because they're running away from the play.
Yep. Boy, what a big play that is. On a pop fly into shallow right. 1-1. Slice foul. 1-2. Did he break his bat?
Well, this Lopez will do that to you. He can jam you inside with that hard slider. It's a biting slider. And he doesn't break it in half, but he puts enough of a dent in it, you got to get a new one. It's
right in on the thumbs, huh?
Oh, yeah, right in the belt buckle is the shot. You'll see it. Digging in, you see it coming across? That's a biting slider.
Great for the bat business.
Oh.
One reason the kids have gone to, what, aluminum?
Aluminum bats, cheaper.
Now back.
Slider is really, it's just changed a lot of hitting styles. Changed a lot of careers.
And of course, so many ball players like all the weight in the meat end and a very thin handle. Boy, they'll string your violin all night with it. That's hit in the alley in left center field. Hernandez.
It's on his glove side. He can stretch and he makes the play. If he's a left-hand thrower, it might have been trouble. But he really galloped over there and closed that gap in a hurry. Here's a good look at it. Watch him stretch out to get it.
And you see his shoes going deep in the grass. It's a very slow outfield here. In fact, Templeton doubled in the 4th inning on the ball in a lot of ballparks would have gone to the wall. Right. And the momentum has swung back towards Detroit. See Herndon? Very slow outfield. 0-2 to Bobby Brown.
He has really clipped that outside corner. He's just huffing and puffing like the 515 now. He's really rolling.
And now you try to protect the outside corner, and that's when he jams you on the hands with the slider.
Broke him back.
Right down the middle. Oh, did he set him up? He was looking for a pitch inside, and Lopez read him and got him on the corner. And the Tigers are growling again, leading 4-3.
This is Randy Jones in downtown San Diego for light beer from Miller. And I'm telling you, these Padre fans are really fired up. Hey, anything you fans want to tell those folks down in Detroit?
Life tastes great! Life tastes great!
Let's take it down to Norm Cash in Detroit. Hey, Randy, see these Tiger fans? They might have something to say about that.
Life Philly! Life Philly! Yeah! Life Philly!
epic of B continues with the final battle. And then the countdown begins for the thrilling premiere of B, the series.
Well, when you think about it, Joe, you have a converted outfielder in his first year at second base and a basketball player in right field, and they're involved in the biggest play of the series.
And it's a big play because it really lets the air out of the balloon because it's a tie-breaking run. And the inning that they had to come back and answer that run by Detroit, they went down 1-2-3 with 2 strikeouts. So the Padres really have an uphill battle.
They do have a lot of comeback in them, though, as they've proven in the series, so it ought to be a good finish.
They're going to have to reach back and get it.
Right now, Marty Castillo will start it off. Ball 1. Castillo followed by Whitaker and Trammell. Marty struck out, called out, and singled in the 4th inning. 1-1. Bottom of the 6th inning. Screwball. Oh, beauty. 1-2. Of course, if he could ever call pitches, this is the place, this ballpark. we're peeking right over Kennedy's shoulder. Another screwball, and he pulled it in the hole, backhanded by Templeton, makes the throw too late.
Incredible play, incredible play. I can't believe he was even going to throw that ball, and he made it very close.
This is why I said if you're going to have an infielder throw from the outfield, here's a guy you wouldn't mind doing it.
Look where he is, and he ends up way over third base, and he throws that ball while he's running, and if he doesn't stretch out, Castillo is out. Look at this, coming right down the line. Watch him stretch, extra stretch. There it is. It gets by Nettles, and Templeton throws on the run. Look at here. And is accurate with it. It's a short hop, but it's amazing that he even made the throw. I don't know if many shortstops that would have even made the throw.
He's incredible. I've seen him so many times in 2 different uniforms make throws that boggle the mind. But with all of it, Marty Castillo beats it out. And Templeton, of course, has been playing on bad knees. There is Whitaker, single, flied out, and walk. They're looking bunt. Nettles on the grass. And, of course, after Whitaker comes Trammell.
Scouting report on Garvey is he rarely makes a play at second.
There'll be action in the Padre bullpen in a moment. Big chopper to Garvey. He tags the bag, throws to second, and the tag is there. Double play, because once Garvey stepped on the bag, the force was removed. Templeton had to tag Castillo, and he did.
It was right on the bag. Garvey only has to take a step. It's high. Look at here. And he's throwing. Templeton comes down with it, and Doug Harvey. There's Castillo hustling down. I wonder if he slid off the bag. He had him. Good look.
Boy, and a great throw. Garvey has made 3 out of 4 excellent throws to second base.
And he doesn't normally do that.
No. He's really come up with some dandies. Only once did he throw high where Templeton had a leap in the air. The other 3 right on the money. Here's Trammell. 2-0. Down in the Padre bullpen. Who do you think could be throwing this time in the game? You got it. Strike.
You can bet if somebody hits a loud foul on a Padre lineup that Hernandez will be up.
You know what's interesting about Gossage? You probably won't believe this unless you really check the record books close. 2-1. In there. In the last 8 World Series games in which Goose Gossage was eligible to pitch, he has never pitched with a lead. Now that's a shocker, huh? 2-2. On deck, Kirk Gibson. (4-3) Tigers. Trammell saying hold it.
mentioned Kirk Gibson, the thought just runs through my mind. That's when you talk about speed. It isn't measured just with stolen bases, because he stole that run and didn't steal a base.
Line drive off the glove of Nettles. He should have caught it. The throw to Garvey. Got him anyway. Another great throw by Gary Templeton. Nettles has it, and it spins away. And there's Johnny on the spot.
Barehanded. And he gets something on it.
We'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
Tonight, the epic of V continues with the final battle. And then the countdown begins for the thrilling premiere of V, the series.
News 4 Today with Dan Montney, weekday mornings at 6:30.
Here's that last play. You call it. You see the ball. You see his foot. Safe.
But the history books will say out.
And that's Mike Riley called him out, and that's all that counts.
5-6-3 on that play. Now we go to the 7th inning. Lopez has struck out 3 of the 4 batters he has faced, and 14 of his 18 pitches have been strikes.
And Wiggins has to get on some ways, somehow. Castillo's in close at third, but he's been able to drag that ball past the pitcher, and let's see.
He hasn't tried to bunt. Now he takes a strike.
Lopez not that good a fielder, he's a big guy, and if Sparky's instructions hold true, he'll break towards first base because Castillo's taking away the bunt from third.
0-1. In there. All Lopez does is throw strikes.
Like a machine.
Boy. 0-2 to Alan Wiggins. And another one. Punched him out.
He's just rearing back and pumping. He's got 4 strikeouts, 3 of them called strikes. There it is. I mean, that pitch, 93 miles an hour, and certainly too close to take in the game that you're fighting for your life for.
And here is Tony Gwynn. Fly ball to left field. It's playable, and Herndon is there. And all of the momentum has swung to Detroit ever since the little pop fly to right field that allowed the go-ahead run to score. And Steve Garvey coming up.
Well, there's nothing that'll take the momentum away quicker than a guy coming in and getting called strike 3s.
Yeah, the Padres are going to sag. Now's the time with Hernandez in the pen and Lopez throwing strikes. Garvey aboard on a fielder's choice. Remember, that's a big play. It's a 1-run game. Wiggins was at third with 1 out. If Garvey hits a fly ball to get him home, it's another game. But Garvey hit a ground ball, and Whitaker threw Wiggins out at the plate. Garvey had an infield single and flied out since, and there is yet another strike. Well, 0-1. A reminder to our stations along the network, at the end of the 8th inning, we'll have an extra station identification. At the end of the 8th. 20 out of 23 strikes. Ground ball to third. Marty Castillo throws him out. 7 in a row retired by Lopez. 8 in a row retired by the Tigers. And it is 4-3 Detroit as we go to the bottom of the 7th.
You know, one of the best things about being an ex-big leaguer is getting freebies to the game. Call the front office, bingo. And once these fans recognize me, I probably won't even have to pay for my light beer from Miller. Down it, crap! I love them. These fans know I drink light because it's less filling and it tastes great. Good seats, huh?
You're in the wrong seat, buddy. Come on.
Oh, I must be in the front row.
Come on.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Good seats, hey, buddy? He missed the tag! He missed the tag!
From the World Series to the presidential debates, NBC News is there. When you want news from across the nation and throughout the world, turn to NBC Nightly News.
Well, here it is, the biggest single play in the 1984 World Series. Bases loaded and 1 out. A fly ball to shallow right, normally caught by the right fielder because he's coming into the play. Instead, Wiggins goes out. It's our contention that Gwynn had lost the ball. That allowed Wiggins the chance. And the big play, Gibson comes home to break the tie.
It's the kind of a play that the outfield takes charge for some reason, Ben, and we'll have to wait and see what he says. Did he lose it? Did he not call it?
Well, we go to the bottom of the seventh, and here's the man who tagged up and came home. Kirk Gibson, a 2-run home run, walk, and a single off Nettles' glove. 2 for 2. Big guy really coming alive today. Ball 1. Gibson hitting .313 in the series. Couldn't wait. Could not wait. And he's hot about it.
He talks to himself and he regroups and back in he goes.
Leverage trying to hold him with Nettles, Kennedy, and Bavacqua due up in the 8th inning against Lopez. A bunt in the air, foul, and out of play. And by the way, Hernandez is walking in to the Detroit dugout. And it could very well be that Lopez has been magnificent. Will now entrust the last couple of innings to Willie.
He's got Nettles and Kennedy, Bavacqua, 2 left-hand hitters.
Well, he's that close to coming in the game. 1-2, the count to Gibson. Boy, I tell you what, if they make that move, that's a tough move.
Oh, that's that half of the money you get for worrying.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, Kirk. Oh, that big jug had him dead. Runge just said it was a good pitch. You take a look at it. Sorry, big guy. That was in there. And now Dick Williams is heading for the mound as Gibson heads for the dugout. Mutter, mutter. Boy, he's hot.
Yeah, he's mad. He can't take it out on anybody like you do on a football field.
That's right. Want to go hit somebody and there's nobody to hit. Take a look at it. Big breaking ball.
He commits early.
Look at that. Case closed. Lefferts out. Here comes the goose. And it's still Tigers 4, Padres 3. So the goose is here, but as we mentioned, he's not leading. And what makes it odd to see him, of course, yesterday he needed work, so he pitched when the team was behind. Today they need him just to stay above water.
They clocked him at 95 miles an hour warming up.
Well, Lance Parrish will face him with 1 out in the 7th. 4-3 Detroit. Fouled away. Parrish singled, twice flied to left. In the 5th inning, his fly ball was important. He went deep enough to left to Martinez that Gibson could get to second. And he lines it to left. Back goes Martinez. Gone.
Fastball hitter sit on a fastball and you won't be able to shoot a bullet by him. That fastball was clocked at 97 miles per hour. And one other note, Sparky Anderson on NFL 84 said Parrish would hit a home run. So now he's become a predictor, prognosticator.
Sparky the Prophet. And Lance Parrish wears 13. It was unlucky for Gossage. That's a fly ball to Gwynn on the track, leaps in the air and backhands it. That wall is 9 feet, including the screen. So he hit that a little less than 9 feet high, or it's out.
He's made 2 pitches. Both balls hit hard, which indicates obviously they're sitting on it, knowing he's going to throw it, and he's going to defy him.
Look at this leap by Gwynn. The ball would not have cleared that 9-foot fence, but it sure would have been an extra base hit if he doesn't catch it. Ball 1.
Remember, Goose did this in the championship series, where he was just rearing back and firing.
Woo. 1-1. But with all the speed and the clocking of the gun, the Goose has been plucked here. It is 5-3 Detroit. Breaking ball, and he singled to center. He might have even cracked his bat. A slider in on the hands.
Against the Cubs with Sandberg on, Goose didn't even give a look, and he took off. I'm sure that the Tigers have made a note of that.
Howard Johnson is swinging a bat. Oh, Howard Johnson will be coming up. Johnson is a switch hitter, and he'll go from the left side of the plate. This will be his first appearance in the World Series.
I remember Sal Mackley talking about pitching. He said it's like driving a car. If you keep driving at 70 miles an hour, pretty soon it seems pretty even. Then you drop it down to 50, 70 seems fast. So you got to keep changing speeds to some degree. And Goose is coming at 97, but it's 97, 97, 96, 97, and they've been able to sit on it.
Einstein's theory of relativity even applies in baseball. And there goes the runner. Ball 1, the throw down. He's in there. Shades of Ryan Sandberg. Gossage never looked, never tried to hold him on.
The ball was there in plenty of time, it seemed. Lemon with a head-first slide. Now watch when he gets the ball. He just didn't get in behind it.
Lemon at second with 2 out. 1 ball and no strike. Howard going after a high pitch. You know, I remember years ago, I asked Jim Gilliam, the late Gilliam, what's the toughest thing about being a switch hitter? You know what he said? Getting hit by the ball, because you're hitting backwards like Alice in the Looking Glass. Fastball, a broken bat, ground ball to Wiggins, boots it, and Lemon's at third, and he took too much time in the first place.
He's simply nonchalant, that one, and there's nothing you can say except it's an error, and the house is starting to really crumble. Look at this.
It's one thing to be cool, but that's being cold. I mean, he took forever to get to the ball.
He waited for it. He could have charged it on the other half.
And here is Evans now trying to put the Padres away. Tigers are at first and third. 2 out, a run over. 5-3 Detroit. High fly ball. It's playable. Bobby Brown. However, the big blow, the home run by Lance Parrish. 1 run, 2 hits, and an error, 2 left. And as Parrish puts on the gear and Sparky whispers in his ear, the big guy takes the Tigers on the field, leading 5-3. That is the Padre bullpen, and it is empty. The reason basically it is empty, not only the fact that Goose Gossage is going to close it out, win or lose, but remember, we're playing under the American League rules, the designated hitter. That means you don't have to hit for a pitcher. So there's no reason to have any more pitchers down there. Had this been a National League game, even with Gossage pitching, they might have had to hit for him. They would have had people in the pen. But not this year. not in this World Series, not with the DH. So it's standing room only in the dugout. Can you imagine taking Aurelio Lopez out of the game?
It was amazing when he was in there. The last 14 pitches he made were strikes, and he only made 25 pitches, and 21 of them were for strikes. As I said, the last 14 in a row. It was incredible. 4 strikeouts, 3 of them called. He just wind him up and he threw you a strike.
Greg Nettles, a strike on the inside corner. Naturally, in Sparky's thinking, Hernandez gets back-to-back left-hand batters here. But it's not that much of a gamble, especially now with a 2-run lead. 0-1. High fly ball into shallow right center. A trio of Tigers. Whitaker. As the kids would say, that's unreal. Jerry Kennedy. Grounded out, hit into a force play, hit back to the box. Foul back. Padres are starting to wonder, doesn't anybody miss the strike zone? After looking at Lopez, and now Hernandez has done nothing but go right after the hitters.
Well, that's what you want your relief pitcher to do, throw strikes with something on it. Stay away from that base on balls. That's what kills you.
0-1. At Whitaker. The last Padre to get aboard was Nettles, who singled in the 5th inning. We now have 2 out in the 8th. 5-3 Detroit.
The bread and butter pitch for Hernandez is a screwball. Look at his elbow, his arm. He turns it over to rotation.
Kennedy hit it pretty hard.
He didn't get it in far enough. Burkeen did that to Williams in the 46 World Series. Left-hand hitter, left-hand pitcher, break it in on the hands. He kind of got it out over the plate.
Here's Bavacqua, flied to left, walked and struck out. 0 for 2. Fastball and a high drive into left field. Herndon looking up, and this one gone. So after we show you his specialty screwball, he throws Bavacqua a fastball. We got a game again. Tigers 5, Padres 4.
And when you hit him that hard, you're looking for it. And Bavacqua is a smart hitter. He figured he'd get ahead of me because the other 2 guys didn't stay up there too long. I'll look for the fastball and pop it, and he did, and they're back in the game.
Just imagine if Kennedy's ball gets by Whitaker. Here is Carmelo Martinez, singled and struck out twice. Strike. A lot going on here, but we certainly want to mention that he's now in the game. Dave Bergman took over at first base for Darrell Evans here in the 8th inning. 0-1. Curveball hit down the left field line. Herndon was deep. He has to come up and get it. Martinez is going to be waved for second and then quits and comes back. But as they have done throughout the series, the Padres keep battling back. A lot of other runners, I think, would have had a double on that. Martinez does not run well.
He's watching it all the way. He makes a big turn. They're telling him to go on for second, but he stops right there, and they're going to put in a pinch runner for him.
Luis Salazar will run for Carmelo Martinez. But he could easily be going to second base, except for Martinez. Remember, we mentioned earlier about the ball that Templeton hit. The grass is so deep in the outfield. Templeton was muttering in the dugout. In any other ballpark, that ball goes to the wall. In this instance, instead of it going all the way down the line, Sparky saw it die and saw Herndon come up with it. So the tying run is at first. Bergman holding on Salazar, and Templeton now crosses over to hit right-handed. Templeton is 0 for 3 hitting right-handed. All of his action has come from the other side of the plate, but he has more power from this side. His 3 home runs this year, all 3 were hit as a right-handed batter. And if he does something wonderful for San Diego, the question will be, why did you take Lopez out? One ball, no strike. Fastball, he was late. You think that's probably another problem about being a switch hitter? Playing the whole game swinging left-handed, then going around right-handed and having a little sluggish swing that way?
I don't know how to answer it. I never did it. I would think it would be, but then again, he's been doing it all year. Of course, Hernandez is a little bit quicker than you think. He's deceptive with his fastball because of that screwball.
Got to look for the Scroogey, I think. 1-1. Nope, fastball, and he was late again. He got it in on the hand.
Well, that's the thing. You got to look for his fastball, and he throws you enough screwballs to upset you. You really, I tell you, when you got more than one pitch, it's just difficult to do. You saw with Gossie's, he's throwing fastballs. They sit on that, and if they get it, you get a pretty good cut. With this guy, you can't be that sure.
Salazar, the tying run at first. Tigers 5 runs. Padres 4. 2 out, 8th inning. Fouled away.
Beat that right into the ground. The grub worms would have had it.
That's what Charlie Dressen used to say. A worm killer.
Worm killer.
1-2.
It's straight down. He beats down on it.
I guess on the artificial turf, it's a moth killer. 1-2. And they got him picked off. Bergman goes to Whitaker. The tying run is picked off.
The essence of hitting. George Brett.
Some guys say it's the rhythm, reading the pitch. For me, it's a feeling that says, I'm going downtown.
The essence of shaving.
This is Atra by Gillette. It pivots so the twin blades stay on your beard longer. But what Atra is all about is the feeling that says you just got Gillette's best shave.
Gillette, the essence of shaving.
Salazar, like most ball players, slides on only one side, so he really slides into that tag. It's the rare player who can slide either way. If he hooks on his right hip, he gets away from that tag.
Looked like his only chance to make the play was to take his body out into the outfield and grab it with his hand.
Right. Oh, 0-1 to Marty Castillo, and a little business. Remember, all the stations along the network, at the end of this half inning, in the bottom of the 8th, we'll have an extra station identification. Fastball. Oh, 1-2.
The question, Salazar, though, is if you're the tying runner and you are going to steal, you can't get picked off. You've got to get thrown out if you are indeed running.
And the team with the better overall speed, better than perhaps the Cubs, pays for the fact that Martinez does not run well. If Martinez ran well, he had an easy double. And instead, he has to stop with a single. Salazar runs for him, and he's picked off. And you really get down to 2 plays now. The inability to get Wiggins home in the first inning. And the pop fly that was caught by Wiggins instead of Gwynn that allowed Gibson to come home. They'll haunt San Diego all winter.
Well, that last play by Salazar is not exactly going to put him to sleep.
2-2. Kirk Gibson has been vitally involved. He hit a 2-run home run, and he scored in the 5th inning on the fly ball to Wiggins. And Gossage walks Castillo, opening up the bottom of the 8th. Whitaker is the batter. Remember, Castillo singled in the 6th inning. They didn't have Whitaker bunting. They had him swing away, and Garvey turned to double play at first. With Trammell to follow, and their lead cut to 1 again. We'll see whether they have Whitaker bunting. Nettles, 1 step up in front of the bag, fouled away. 0-1.
Goose made a throw to first base. If nothing else, letting Castillo know that I know you're there.
Anderson has tremendous faith in Whitaker, even against steam or heat like Gossett. Being left-handed, he might just let him hack away. We'll see. Trammell on deck. Yep, he's got him around. Bunting a one-hopper to Nettles. He's going to go to Templeton.
He's off the bag.
He missed the bag.
He wasn't expecting to throw. He was off the bag. I can't believe what's happening. It's like Padre busters. I mean, the Gremlins have hit the field. Guys are not catching fly balls. He assumed he was going to first base. Now watch this. Nettles, he doesn't hesitate, and Templeton is standing in front of the bag. He's in front of the bag. He got caught in a cookie jar.
Look at the look on Templeton. You don't have to say anything. He's so shocked. Oh, my goodness.
He can't believe he did that himself. He was in front of the bag. I mean, it's a real Halloween finish.
There's the bunt to Gossage, and he has to throw to Wiggins. First base open, and they will walk Gibson, I believe, with Parrish coming up. There's no error, by the way. That is ruled a sacrifice fielder's choice. But Templeton knows how it's scored in his own scorebook. It figures they'll take the bat right out of Gibson's hand. And now Dick Williams is going to go out there because Kennedy held up 4 fingers and then went out to the mound. So let's see.
Well, you gotta believe that he's going to put him on with 4 pitches. But if he starts to fool around and throw a couple pitches and get a couple strikes, don't you know that Sparky will be screaming about that Raleigh Fingers Johnny Bench play?
That's right. You have to turn the clock back with 2 strikes on Bench. Dick went out to the mound, caught the fingers. Tennis held his hand out. Zip were going to put him aboard. Suddenly, Tennis dropped into a crouch. Bingo, strike 3.
Well, they're making a decision here, and Williams is in charge.
You know what's interesting? Kirk Gibson made his major league debut, his very first at-bat in the big league, against Goose Gossett. That's a great way to break in. And Gossett struck him out on 3 pitches.
Blew him away, Sparky says.
And maybe because of that, Gossett is saying, I can get him. Well, we'll see. Ball 1. The infield is up. They give Gibson the left field foul line. Brown is in left. And there it goes! distinct feeling that Goose Gossage talked Dick Williams out of the intentional walk.
And that'll be another one of those things that'll haunt Dick Williams, because it looked like they were going to maybe set up the double play, but Williams was doing all the talking.
I know Kennedy figured to walk him. He held 4 fingers up. Saddest words of tongue and pen. What might have been for San Diego. And this crowd in Detroit delirious. Kirk Gibson has 5 RBIs. The record is 6. Bobby Richardson against the Pirates in 1960. Ow! Kennedy got bitten by that one. They are singing goodbye. Too late. Too little, too late. Here's the story of the inning, of the game, of the series, of the year. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
Us syncopators of progressive ribs have a unique style of jawing.
Howard says jazz musicians talk funny.
And after a gig, I finger pop with a light beer from Miller.
After playing, Howard enjoys a light beer.
Light is super cool and a breeze on the calories, you dig.
Light is less filling, with a third less calories than their regular beer. And the taste, Howard?
Oh, man, it's Obop Shabam. It's lay down, break down, birdie on the hot side of town.
He likes it.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer. And less.
Complete World Series highlights Sunday night on Sports Final Edition.
Show you how things can change. Does this man look like the same man who was so angry in the 7th inning? And does this look like Gary Templeton, who was left at the plate when Salazar was picked off and was left in front of the bag on the sacrifice? Fouled away. That tells it all, doesn't it, Joe?
Yes, it does.
Oh, 2 to Gary Templeton. The Tigers 3 out away from the World's Championship. The Tigers, as we mentioned earlier, clinch the division at home, clinch the pennant at home, and they're now trying to clinch the World Series at home. First team to do that since the '69 Mets. Screwball fouled away. On deck, Bruce Bochy. He'll bat for Bobby Brown. Now back, high fastball. If pictures tell the story, look at the Padres. Ground ball to Trammell. Bruce Bochy, born in France, 29-year-old. He's the backup catcher to Terry Kennedy. Fastball.
This is just a gesture by Williams, I'm sure, to get him into the World Series.
Something to tell the kid. 0-1. 8-4 Tigers. 1 out, 9th inning. Curveball, and he hit it foul, but he had a good rip at it. 0-2. One of the few curveballs we've seen Hernandez throw. And the Tigers 2 outs away from the bubbly. That's Aurelio Lopez without the hat. Line drive, base hit. Doboshi off the bench, singles to left. And the Padres, one last chance to fight back. Ron Renicky, the brother of Baltimore's Gary Renicky, gets a chance to get in the World Series. In '81, he had hurt his ankle and couldn't play in the Dodger-Yankee World Series. This year, he wasn't eligible until McReynolds hurt his wrist. So you see, fate has a way of evening up, I guess. And here's Wiggins. 4-1.
From day one of the season, the Tigers have been in first place.
Incredible team.
Incredible year.
And this is the capper. Fouled away. One out, 9th inning. Hernandez with the luxury of a 4-run lead. Two and one. Little Scroogey that stayed very high and ran away. One out, 9th inning. Fastball popped in the air. Lands Parrish. Don't forget, we'll take you into the locker room after this game if the Tigers hold on to any part of this 4-run lead. And the way this crowd is going, we're just going to be quiet and let you listen and enjoy it to your heart's content.
Johnny Grubb, preparing for the onslaught, took his cap off and put it in his shirt. And that's why most of them have their caps off. They'll be running out there. Fans love to get, even Trzaskowski. He doesn't like to take his hat off. He hasn't got that much grass.
Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By RCA, creators of video technology that excites the senses. By IBM and the growing family of IBM personal computers. And by Light Beer from Miller, an official beer sponsor of Major League Baseball. More about today's game in a moment. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
A promotional fee has been paid to NBC by United Airlines. United's Royal Pacific service to the Far East. It's truly world class.
A promotional fee has been paid to NBC by Hilton. When American business hits the road, American business stops at Hilton, America's business address.
Parrish arrests Mr. Science Monday at 4:30 on Barney Miller.
It is baseball's answer to New Year's Eve in Times Square. This one, vintage 1984. Tiger Stadium in Detroit, home of the world champion Detroit Tigers. And with that, let's go to the champions locker room and to Bob Costas.
All right, Vin, thank you very much. On the platform, the new commissioner of baseball, Peter Uberoff, the former owner, longtime owner of the Tigers, John Fetzer, the new owner of the ball club, Tom Monahan, the manager, the first to win championships from both leagues, Sparky Anderson, the MVP of the series, Alan Trammell. For the presentation of the championship trophy, the commissioner.
It was great baseball, a great team, and it's a pleasure to give this trophy to the chairman of the board, or maybe of all of baseball, John Fetzer. John?
Well, this is the climax of 28 years of owning the ball club, and I've just loved every minute of it. I love all the guys that are here, and I want to tell you right now, I'm happy to turn this cup over to Tom Monahan as the new owner of the Tigers. And Tom, I hope you'll win a lot of them as the next 30 years goes to you.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Fetzer. The one thing I feel right now is tremendous gratitude to you for giving me this great opportunity, and I'll be forever grateful. This is your team. This should be your trophy.
I love all of them out there, and these boys are all your boys from now on. You take them and you go all the way with them every year you can.
Oh, I want you around.
I'll be here as long as I can.
Oh, you'll be here a long time.
Let's turn now to Sparky Anderson. 104 victories in the regular season, Sparky. You add on the postseason, you lost only one. The composite is 111 and 59.
Bobby, I don't care about none of that. The only thing I care is the public could see, to me, one of the most class teams and people that I've ever been around. The young man that won the most valuable player, I say it, I don't care what nobody said. He's the best player in baseball. We fell that way. That's what we're going to say. He deserves everything. And when Alan speaks, he speaks for this team. I'll see you later.
Sparky will be back. I think there's a phone call waiting for him eventually. We'll turn to Alan Trammell, 9 for 20, including a couple of homers, the MVP.
Well, thank you, Bob. I'll tell you what, I wish we could divide it up between all of us. I know that Jack was very deserving, Kirk Gibson. It's just one of these things that everybody's been contributing for our ball club. I just happen to have a good series, but it's divided among all of us, that's for sure.
Alan, yesterday's ball game. That had to be the thrill of a lifetime. The 2 two-run homers, the 4 RBIs.
There's no question, but this is even specialer right here. This is what it's all about. We're going to get that ring. This is the most important day of my life. I'm going to celebrate.
Let's see if we've got the telephone ready. Are we set with the call? We are. Can we get Sparky Anderson back up here? Sparky. Jim Campbell, the president of the ball club, is also here. And on the line, I believe, the president of the United States. Sparky?
Mr. President, I know that you are a great Cubs fan, but I know if you've seen these kids, you'd be a Tiger fan. Mr. President. Well, Mr. President, I know you love those Cubs, but if you knew around these Tigers, you'd love them more.
Difficult to hear the conversation.
Well, I'll tell you what, now we'll sit down to some hard rooting.
We'll return to the Tiger Clubhouse in just a moment. Stay with us.
I'm in the Padres locker room. Obviously, it's a bit more subdued. I'm with Tony Gwynn, who was the Majors leading hitter this year. And Tony, I think everybody wants to know about that key play in the 5th inning. Did you lose the ball? Could you pick it up? You lost it.
I lost.
as soon as the ball got up over the stands, I lost it. And, you know, Wiggy had a long way to go to get it, and once he got it, you know, he really couldn't really plant himself and throw because Gibson could run down the line, and, you know, we couldn't get anything on it. And you know, I hate that it turned out to be the key play in the game, but that's what happened.
Can you sum up your feelings about this club and what happened over this 5-game series?
Well, I think we're disappointed because I really don't believe we played like we were capable of playing, but, you know, nobody really expected us to be here. And, you know, there are 24 other teams sitting at home watching this, and we had an opportunity to play in it. We didn't play well, but, you know, we got to keep our heads high because we had a heck of a season this year. And, you know, sure, we'd love to have won it, but we didn't. So I guess we have to work a little bit harder next year.
Okay, congratulations on the fine season in the batting championship.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, let's go back to Bob Costas now in the Tiger locker room. Bob?
All right, Lenny, thanks very much. In case you couldn't hear it earlier over the din, the MVP is Alan Trammell with his 9 for 20 and his 2 home runs. But either one of these guys could have gotten it, too. Jack Morris, a couple of victories in your first World Series.
The throw, the weight, the work, it's all worth it. This is the greatest moment of my baseball career. I'm just so proud of all these guys right here because without their help, I wouldn't be here. And I just really feel great about it.
There were a few low moments during an otherwise terrific season for you. This has to make it a sweet ending.
Well, this is what I planned all spring. I made a few statements early in the year, but it's only showed the confidence that I had in this ball club. The greatest thing about it is we were able to come through and win it all.
Jack, congratulations. Kirk Gibson, you were kidding me about being nervous before the series. Didn't look like you had any jitters today. You crushed a couple.
Well, there's a little bit of luck involved, and I've come a long way, like Jack says. There's high moments, and there's been some low moments, but this tops it off. We're the best in the world. We're the world champions, and it just says a lot about the great guys. And I heard about the MVP is Alan Trammell. You know, people don't realize Alan Trammell's been playing hurt all year. He's going to have surgery on his knee, and they're going to have to go in and look on his shoulder. So I'd personally like to congratulate Alan Trammell. It just shows the kind of makeup that we have, the kind of ball players we have on this team.
Kirk Gibson, congratulations to you. The 1984 world champions are the Detroit Tigers. And I guess it's appropriate enough to say to this room full of happy Detroit ball players, bless you, boys. You're the 1984 world champions.
It's been a great ride, and we certainly hope you enjoyed the trip. Executive producer Michael Weissman leading the way, choosing the shots, and a great choice he made. From the nights in San Diego to the weekend here at Tiger Stadium. The coordinating producer, boy, he has seen as many thrills in baseball World Series play as any man alive, and that would be our coordinating producer, Harry Coyle. The World Series has been produced. Boy, has it ever been produced. And a roll of drums, a doff of the cap, and a low bow from the waist to our producer, George Finkel. Directed by Harry Coyle. There were so many people involved, not just with the production of one game, but every day in the wee small hours, all the way back up to the other side of the clock. There are over 250 people whose names are being listed, and there are even more than that behind the scenes who made vital contributions. And as if it's a fitting climax to the hopes of a fine young San Diego Padre team, it is raining in Detroit. The pregame, all of the juicy anticipation that we shared with you, both the great moments from the past and the prospects of things to come, produced so very well by Les Dennis. And the pregame and the replay, giving us those wonderful moments again and again so that we could study them for the sheer delight of just looking at great baseball. That would be director Andy Rosenberg. The replay producer, Kenneth Edmondson. You talk about technical work. Imagine the work that takes place in 2 different ballparks from the West Coast almost to the East Coast. Well, the technical director in charge of equipment and manpower, Lenny Stucker. And the replay technical director, The replay of the fly ball to right field, of Gibson tagging up, of Gary Templeton standing in front of second base. So many great moments replayed. Hats off to our technical director, Bill Tobin. And how about the 25 Tigers with the manager, Sparky Anderson, his pitching coach, Roger Craig, his baseline coaches, Dick Trasuski and Alex Grammett, Coach Billy Consolo. He and Sparky were kids on the sandlot, 8 years old, and they've climbed to the pinnacle in baseball fortune. And hitting coach, Gage Brown. And hey, don't walk away from this series without saluting the comeback kids from San Diego. They went down, but they have a man on every shot they had. Dick Williams and his fine staff. Norm Sherry is pitching coach. And his baseline coaches, Jack Kroll, Ossie Virgil. To the Deacon, Deacon Jones. And to the 25 who wore the brown and gold so well throughout the year, who won the division. Down on their knees, battle back to win 3 straight against the Cubs and beat the outstanding pitcher in the National League after spotting him 3 runs. How about them Padres as well? And how about baseball and the World Series? Next on NBC, Knight Rider, followed by the final battle. That's all tonight right here on NBC. So whatever you do, don't go away. In the rain at Tiger Stadium, one of the brightest moments in Tiger history as they defeat the Padres 8-4 and become the world champions of 1984. For Joe Garagiola, this has been Scully, wishing you a very pleasant good evening. Come to think of it, have a great year.
The World Series is a special presentation of NBC Sports, the leader in innovative sports television.
From News 4, this is a World Series update.
This is how it looked tonight. A determined team, an enthusiastic crowd. The showdown in Motown is over. The Detroit Tigers have emerged victorious. Hello, everyone. It took 16 years to do it, but the Tigers have done it. They are the 1984 World Series champions.
Are they ever? The Tigers wrapped up the title by beating the San Diego Padres 8-4 before a packed Tiger Stadium tonight.
Rich Make is standing by live outside Tiger Stadium where joyous fans are pouring out. And Rich, I imagine you're witnessing what will be the first of a long night of celebration.
Yeah, I think you're right, Gerald. As you can tell, it is raining heavier and heavier. But take a look down there. You think anybody notices it? I doubt it. There must be 40, 50,000 fans down there right now. Some people still trying to make their way out of the stadium right now. Remember back over this year. Remember 11-0. Remember 35-5. Remember that record for consecutive road wins established on the West Coast. They were wonderful days. They were great memories, but they were nothing like tonight. This is a memory that we should savor for right now and cherish forever. Look at them. They're having a terrific time. They're going to be down there for some time to come. I'll tell you, nobody is going to move out of that intersection for quite a while. You can see the crowd really moving up the street, moving west on Michigan Avenue, people who are in the bars down below or whatever, moving up here to be in this intersection, to be a part of this very special moment. You may be back to us, and I can guarantee you we're going to be here for a while.
Looks like everybody's going to be there for a while.
I wish we were there for a while.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, Rich.
Okay.
The emotion of the fans can only be matched by that of the winning players. Let's join Al Ackerman in the Tiger locker room now where the champagne corks are popping. You getting wet there, Al?
I think they want us to talk, Lance, and I don't know if we can. Lance, congratulations. I mean, I knew you always talked about the contributions of others, but you wanted to do something offensively. I tell you, when you hit that home run off of Gossett, that has to be one of the great throws.
Hey, I was so happy just to be able to give us an extra run, a little bit more of a cushion. You know, it probably meant a little bit more. I've never really gotten that many hits off a goose, but it's just nice to be able to give us a 2-run cushion instead of a 1-run cushion going into the ninth inning. And
what do you mean a 2-run cushion? That run stood up, Lance. It got to be 5-4, as I recall, Lance.
Everybody did something, you know. It wasn't just me. I helped a little bit. I got a home run, big deal, you know. I think everybody in this ball club deserves a lot of credit, and I'm just happy to be a part of it all.
Okay, let's start with Dan Petrie. Dan, I knew you wanted him to win this so bad, but I mean, Sparky had to take him out of there.
Well, he just was having a little bit of problem with his control, and I do feel bad. I wish he would have had an opportunity to win this ball game and stick it out, but the main thing was we did win the game, and I'm sure Danny's just as excited as everybody else. He was not able to hang in there through it all, but, you know, he's a world champion just like the rest of us.
All right, Aurelio Lopez, what a splendid job that man did.
Hey, everybody did a good job. I can't pinpoint everybody. Everybody on this ball club deserves all as much credit as anybody else.
Well, I can pinpoint. I'll say, bless you, boys.
Bless you, boys. Bless you, Al. And you predicted it all right here.
Deborah, Gerald.
Big kiss for Al. He deserves it.
He deserves it.
Thank you, Al. Well, thousands of happy Tiger fans are now headed home on wet streets.
Let's find out how wet by talking with Mike Windland, who's now hovering overhead in Air 4. Mike?
It's wet, Gerald and Deborah, but nobody cares. We can almost hear the excitement 1,000 feet in the air, the sound of horns and police sirens. First, let me show you what's going on inside of the stadium. Inside the stadium right now, you see an empty but somewhat desecrated field. The fans, tens of thousands of them, stormed onto the field, began ripping up large chunks of the sod. Hundreds and hundreds of police officers were on there. They tried to protect the diamond itself and did a pretty good job. The only damage is right in front of the pitcher's mound. But the field is going to need extensive work, but they've got until next spring to do that. Outside on the streets, though, it is a different story. About 40 to 50,000 people are crowding the intersection of Trumbull and Michigan right now. You can see police bubbles inside the crowd trying to make their way. A few minutes ago, there were people standing and dancing on the rooftops of some of the buses on the street. We see an EMS vehicle down there being pushed back and forth by the crowd. It is actually being rocked by the crowd. And we've heard a number of police calls trying to get some more manpower into the area. At this point, it looks like the crowd is just wildly jubilant. We see no damage. We saw them tossing sod around the stadium. But the rain is keeping a damper on it. It is dispersing them, and amazingly orderly. We're seeing traffic moving out of the stadium area fairly effectively. There's no traffic jams at all on the expressways, with the exception of some of the entrance ramps to the northbound lodge. Tiger Stadium itself is pretty cleared out now. Most of the people are gone. And as far as the crowds on Michigan and Trumbull, well, as Rich Make said a few moments ago, they're going to be jamming those streets for some time. That's it from Air 4 for now. We'll be back as the crowd continues to celebrate the big victory, World Series champs, the Detroit Tigers. Back to you, Deborah and Gerald.
Well, Mike, as we've all just seen, there is pandemonium in Detroit right now. Detroit police say they will try to keep the roadways around Tiger Stadium open as long as possible. They're not sure as to how long they can guarantee that. Westbound Michigan is already closed from 3rd to Trumbull, so don't try to get anywhere downtown in a hurry tonight. Find some outgoing freeways starting to get somewhat heavy, as is traffic heading in towards Detroit, so drive with extra care and watch out for all those happy pedestrians. Gerald, Deborah, back to you.
All right, now let's go to where all the action was just a little while ago. News 4's DJ Gallagher is standing by live inside Tiger Stadium. DJ.
Gerald, for the last half hour, it has been mass insanity. This isn't exactly what you'd call another quiet night at the ballpark. Thanks to the Detroit police, I'm still alive to talk about it. The minute the game ended, 52,000 jubilant fans poured out onto the fields. This has been pent-up emotion for the last 16 years. They were determined to make the most of it, have a great time. I have a feeling the party going in here is going to be going on for a while, not quite as long as it will be going outside. From the very beginning, fans never gave up hopes that they were going to win it tonight from inning one. And to the very end, we came across a couple earlier who got married today and spent their first day, their wedding day here at the stadium. We're going to meet them later on during the 11 o'clock newscast. So for now, I'm going to turn it back to you at the studio. One more question. Who's number one?
There is no question. Absolutely. I certainly hope there's some turf left out there at Tiger Stadium. Doesn't look like it.
Push out a little square.
Let's go back now to the Tiger locker room. Eli Zaret is standing by with more from the
I'm here
Tigers.
in the locker room with the architect of it all. I suppose you could say, Jim Campbell, is there any way that you can put into words the gratification and the great sense of joy and happiness that you must feel?
Well, I'll tell you, Eli, it's the thing that really pleases me so much is that so many people
So many dedicated people in our organization played a part in putting this group together. Sparky and the players, the coaches, and our minor league people, people in our front office, and Rick Farrell, Hoot Evers, and Bill LaJoy. I could just go on and name people, but it takes a lot of people with a dedicated effort to put a group like this together, and I just want them to enjoy it.
What was it like the lean years? Even 2-3 years ago, this team was in formation, and yet the belief wasn't around town that would really happen. Deep down, you must have felt it.
Sure, I felt this started. We started really tearing this club apart when Ralph Houck was here, and we brought Trammell and Whitaker and Parrish and Morris and Petrie in, and then Sparky came in and really put the finishing touches on it and gave it his, his trademark. Sparky's just a wonderful guy and a wonderful human being and really a darn good Major League Baseball manager. I think one of the great managers that ever managed in this major leagues of ours.
The type of team you have has really impressed people, too, and it becomes corny after a while, but everybody did contribute. You see the little guys come through.
And I hate to be corny about it, and another thing, Eli, the fans play such a part here in Detroit. These baseball fans in Detroit, they don't want silk stockings given away or dishes. They come out here to see a baseball game, and they enjoy it, and they have fun, and they're angry when they lose, and that's the way it should be.
You know, very rare is it that a team can repeat. Of course, after this day on, they're going to say, can the Tigers come back and do it again? It seems to me this is the kind of club that may be balanced enough to do it. It is a great challenge, though, to see if you can actually come back and do it again.
Well, that's true. It's hard to repeat, and these ball players will be the first to tell you. And what we're certainly going to try to repeat, and we hope that we can keep it up.
Jim, thank you very much.
Right, Eli.
I appreciate it. And now back to you in the studio, Gerald and Deborah.
Okay, thanks. Eli looks in pretty good shape. I figured he would have got the wrath of that Tiger winning mischief by now.
You're right. Jim Campbell is right. We don't want silk stockings and dishes. Just keep giving us these World Series championships. Believe it or not, there were other big sports stories today. How could you believe that?
Fred Hickman is standing by live in the newsroom with an update. Fred?
Well, how do you follow that act? I don't know, but here goes. There were other sporting events happening in our area today, and among them, a Lions football victory beneath the Silverdome. The Lions really dodged a bullet. Gary Danielson, who didn't start at quarterback but came on when Eric Hipple was injured, threw a 37-yard strike to Leonard Thompson in overtime to win it. It was the Lions' second win of the year against 5 losses and avenges an earlier loss this year at Tampa. Also today, the Detroit Free Press International Marathon, as seen here this morning live on Channel 4. 26 miles from Windsor through the tunnel and into Detroit. Lauren Bant of Brighton was the men's winner. Karen Hubbard was first among the women. She's from Ann Arbor and is a 3-time champion. Marty Ball of California and Jennifer Smith of Kettering, Ohio were the top wheelchair athletes competing. And, of course, there were other things going on today and tonight. Later on this evening, the Red Wings are going to be playing their hockey in Buffalo versus the Sabres, and the Detroit Pistons will play exhibition basketball with the Cavaliers down in Toledo, Ohio. But, of course, the Tigers are champs. That's the big sports story. Back to you, Gerald and Deborah, for more news.
All right.
Thank you, Fred. And let's try to squeeze in one news story. The Ford Motor Company and the United Auto Workers Union have reached a tentative agreement on a new contract. UAW President Owen Bieber says that settlement closely follows the pattern established at General Motors. The tentative contracts would return workers much of that $3.5 billion they gave up in wage and benefit concessions. Business editor Jennifer Moore has been covering the talks, and she'll have a complete report at 11, I promise.
Just want to get in more of that celebrating, huh? Absolutely. The celebrating has really just begun despite all of the rain. Tiger fans are partying in the streets tonight.
Let's go back to Rich Make, who's standing by live outside Tiger Stadium. We're all live tonight, Rich.
Okay, it's the rain slowed down. Anyway, as a matter of fact, just about stopped. The party has not stopped. It is still going on down there. I'm glad to say to you at this point that it looks pretty peaceful. A lot of people are actually, believe it or not, trying to move through this crowd to get down to their cars. There's a solid swarm of people on the street going eastbound on Michigan Avenue right now, too, trying to get to their cars. You can see that some cars are parked in the intersection with drivers undoubtedly sitting in there. They're just not going to get out for a while. People are sitting there and having a good time, celebrating this special night of nights, and they'll be around for a long time, climbing some of the light posts you can see around the area, so they'll be here for a while. As I say, thank goodness right now, it seems to be peaceful. Let's hope it stays like that. Why spoil a beautiful night?
Looks like New Year's Eve out there.
It really does. You think that rain would help police contain the crowds, but I just don't think it's going to happen.
I have a feeling it's going to be crowded when we're on our way home at 11:30 tonight.
You're going home at 11:30? Well, that wraps up our News 4 World Series update.
We'll be following the Tiger stories throughout the evening, and we'll be back tonight at 11 o'clock with complete team coverage of the Tigers clinching of the World Series title. We'll see you then.
Bless you, boy.
Following a season in which they won 104 games, the Detroit Tigers, led by manager Sparky Anderson, close in on a 3-game championship series sweep of the Kansas City Royals.
1-0 Tigers, 9th inning. Here's the pitch. Motley swings. There's a pop foul off a third. It may be the pennant. Castillo has it, and the Tigers have won the American League pennant. Their first since 1968.
While Detroit celebrated, the National League Championship Series raged on. The San Diego Padres, in search of a miracle, returned home to a surprise welcome after 2 losses in Chicago. Padre manager Dick Williams and his men responded, and suddenly San Diego started to rise. A victory in Game 3 set the stage for one of baseball's most memorable games, all capped off in Game 4 by Steve Garvey's 9th inning home run, a home run that shocked the Cubs, deadlocked the series, and made people think that the Padres had a destiny of their own. In the climactic Game 5, the Padres led 6-3.
Here's the goose. The 1-1 pitch. A one-hopper to Nettles, to Wiggins, and the Padres have the National League pennant. Oh, Ducker! You can hang a star on that, baby!
Presenting the 1984 Fall Classic, Sounds of the Series.
He don't want to walk you.
That wasn't the type of bunt I wanted.
Nice going. That's a good scouting report, Rich.
The best arm is the right fielder, and he winds up to throw. Don't want to make no plane trips. Let's go.
Just don't say anything. If it bothers me, I'll tell you. Don't worry.
Okay. I ain't telling you where it's at, but I'll tell you if it's gone, all right?
I like to keep attacking you.
You didn't think you got him?
I was just making sure. You mean you're talking about striking him out? Yeah. I mean, this guy is just making us eat our lunch. Never can tell what'll happen here.
Series 1984, matching the American League pennant-winning Detroit Tigers and the San Diego Padres, first-time champions of the National League. Nearly 58,000 fans are on hand to watch history in the making. San Diego's first World Series, presided over by baseball's new commissioner, Peter Ueberroth. The commissioner has designated first ball honors to a man who represents all the fans of baseball as he attends his 238th series game, Pat Olson of College Station, Texas. But the real first ball is to be found in the left hand of Padre Mark Thurman as the 81st World Series gets underway.
For the Detroit Tigers, the second baseman, Lou Whitaker.
Sweet Lou Whitaker scored 90 runs for the Tigers over the season, and he's one man the Padres don't want to see on base. A drive to the deepest part of the stadium puts Whitaker on second, and quickly the Tigers are on the attack. The next batter is native San Diegan Alan Trammell, who makes his home 2 miles away from the Padre ballpark. As Whitaker races round, Detroit takes a 1-0 lead. Over the years, the Tigers won 83% of the games in which they scored first. That one-run advantage is entrusted to Jack Morris, a new face to both the Padres and the National League's men in blue.
Hey, has he got something that I don't know about? I want to know, like a knuckleball or anything like that.
He got a good changeup and he throws that split finger thing.
Nice going. That's a good scouting report, Rich.
Even to the casual observer, Jack Morris had the right stuff in '84. The Tiger ace notched 19 wins, including a no-hitter, and now comes off a strong outing in the playoffs against the Royals. But when it comes to credentials, it's tough to top Steve Garvey, who recently added playoff MVP to his list. In the bottom of the first with 2 out, the toast of San Diego gets a first look at Jack Morris. With his 9th postseason hit, Garvey holds it first. Up next is another well-accomplished veteran, Greg Nettles. Now, runners are on first and second. Back-to-back hits and the makings of a 2-out rally. There's nothing Jack the Cat wants to avoid more than a first-inning trap, especially with dangerous Terry Kennedy up. Ganging up on the Tigers, the Padres have shown some pop of their own. After the opening inning, it's 2-1 San Diego. But 3 innings later, a problem looms for the Padres. Mark Thurmond has thrown nearly a game's worth of pitches, and manager Williams is concerned.
He has thrown 90-some-odd pitches.
You got one more.
Oh, wait, Thurmond!
He's okay for one more.
Okay.
See how he does this one.
Okay. Let's keep trying. We'll sit on him now. One more. If we get one more out of him, that's all we can get out of him, I believe. He got 93.
In the top of the 5th, Lance Parrish has just delivered a 2-out double. That brings up left fielder Larry Herndon. A stunning lesson in how one pitch can undo more than 100. Larry Herndon's opposite field 2-run homer has put the Tigers out in front 3-2. In the 7th inning, San Diego's designated hitter, Kurt Babakwa, steps up thinking perhaps of an earlier report on the Tiger outfielders.
Left fielder arm. He's not going to throw anybody out. We're going to run. It's not accurate. We're not going to. The best arm is the right fielder, and he winds up to throw. We're going to run on all of them, at least try it.
Babakwa's ready to run, but as he well knows, first of all, he's got to get on base. For San Diego, disappointment and a sudden jolt.
Flip.
On the replay, rounding second, Babakwa clearly slips, and that one misstep, combined with a fine relay from Lou Whitaker, made the difference. By the 9th inning, another point has become clear. Jack Morris has been in complete control, striking out 6 of the last 11 batters, and now needs just one more out. Dave Bergman makes the play, and the Tigers are 3-2 winners on the road. Game 1 of the '84 series has gone to Detroit. And for Sparky Anderson, a special moment, his 12th straight postseason victory. With spirits still soaring, San Diego settles in for Game 2. On the mound, Ed Whitson, 14-8 during the season, and the leading practitioner of the pound ball. But not about to knuckle under, Lou Whitaker gets a hand as the ball game gets going. Whitson's first pitch is wrapped for a single, and that's not the kind of start the Padres wanted. Soon, more trouble. A man who had 2 hits the day before, Alan Trammell. Next in the order, Kirk Gibson.
Come on, give me the ball you want now. The ball you want.
Whitson's third pitch yields a third hit, and very quickly it's 1-0 Tigers.
Get him out. Who you got up? We get Hawkins if you want. He's a, Hawkins, yeah, get him up.
Action in the bullpen, and still action on the bases. Gibson steals second, and then Lance Big Wheel Parrish takes a turn. The runners tag, and Detroit goes up 2-0. Next, Darrell Evans takes a poke, and despite a great Gary Templeton effort, a third run is in. Whitson exits after just 16 pitches, replaced by reliever Andy Hawkins.
Yeah, go ahead and through. Go ahead and through. Hold him right there now. We got a long way to go. Go hard now.
Hawkins holds on. And although Detroit is up by 3, 18-game winner Dan Petrie finds himself in a first-inning jam. The Padres have 2 on, nobody out, and a surprise in the works.
If you want to lay one down, you go ahead. Yeah. Okay? The skipper. If you want to lay one down, you're not second fine, but if you want to lay one down, it's fine.
Now, maybe Steve can drop a bunt down here. Never can tell what'll happen here.
All eyes are fixed on Steve Garvey, San Diego's top RBI man. A solid sacrifice, but the skipper intended something else.
That wasn't the type of bunt I wanted. I wanted him to try. I wasn't wanting to sacrifice. I wanted him to try to drop one. He's way back. Yeah.
Even in the series, there's still time to teach.
Steve, were you trying to push it out that way? Okay, because he's way back at third, and There's your slow man, your guy at third. That's all right, good try. We moved 2 up. Let's get these 2 in. We're on our way.
Now the task of driving in a run befalls Greg Nettles. Left fielder Rupert Jones has a running start, but tagging up is speedy Alan Wiggins. The replay clearly shows Wiggins safe at home. And at the end of a busy first inning, it's 3-1 Tigers. In the 4th, Kurt Babakwa has led off with a single, and 1 out later, he's followed by switch hitter Gary Templeton. This time, Babak was in at third, but it wasn't exactly a smooth ride.
Pull muscle. You did. Where? The leg? Your leg? Huh?
It's all right.
Oh, you make sure now.
A little bit.
You sure?
Yeah.
You sure you're all right?
Just don't say anything. If it bothers me, I'll tell you. Don't worry.
Okay.
Now, with worries of his own, Dan Petrie looks in to find Bobby Brown, who's playing center in place of the injured Kevin McReynolds. On the play, Babakwa scores, and the Padres trail by 1. Later in the 5th, San Diego threatens with 1 out and 2 men on. Taking center stage again, Kurt Babakwa, who only had 80 bats during the year, but he sure has a big job now.
Get it done, Kurt. Right man in the right spot.
Pulling a slider instead of a muscle, Babakwa and his 3 RBI performance have brought down the house. Time for a standing ovation and the sight of a 2-run lead up in lights. But it's really been a strong supporting role from the bullpen that's kept the Padres in the game. Since coming on in the first, Andy Hawkins has had the Tigers chasing their tails. A swing man during the year, Hawkins has filled the breach, retiring 13 in a row through the 5th, blanking Detroit over 5 1/3 innings of crucial long relief. Picking up where Hawkins left off is Craig Lefferts, who's pitched shutout balls since the 7th. And for those efforts, Craig Lefferts needs just one more out for a save. Alan Wiggins has it, and everything's coming up roses for the Padres. The first World Series win for the 16-year-old franchise is something to be celebrated. And from La Jolla to the South Bay, it's time for a little fiesta in San Diego. But the '84 series will soon be moving on. Next stop, Motown. A sense of history and anticipation in a jam-packed Tiger Stadium as 2 former minor league teammates who went on to great managing careers greet before Game 3. First ball honors this night belong to Venerable John Fetzer, former owner and now chairman of the Tiger team. With all festivities duly observed, Game 3 starts and neither team scores through the first inning and a half. But in the last of the second, the Motor City machine starts cranking up, ready to move like a Super V8. A stunning home run from Marty Castillo puts Detroit out in front 2-0, and the Tigers aren't done yet. San Diego pitching yields 11 walks this night, tying a series record. And that helps the Tigers cruise to a 4-run lead after 6. But in the 7th, the Padres have closed within 3, and that's when reliever Willie Hernandez gets the call. In a dream year, Hernandez had 32 saves and 33 chances. Right now, though, he enters the game with 2 out, Terry Kennedy at the plate, and Steve Garvey 90 feet away. Chet Lemon has it. For the Tigers, Lemon turns in some sweet glove work at a clutch time. Even sweeter, a 5-2 win in Game 3. Game 4, and a wave of Motown mania roars across Tiger Stadium. Riding the crest, leadoff man Lou Whitaker. And the other half of Detroit's relentless 1-2 punch, Alan Trammell. Trammell drove one out in the first.
Come on, Al, let's go, baby, drive it!
And was still turning heads in the third. Two at-bats, 2 home runs, and 4 RBIs for Alan Trammell, one of the biggest of the Detroit Wheels. After 3, it's Tigers 4-1. San Diego faces a tall order this day. Tiger starter Jack Morris, who's looking every bit the winningest right-hander in baseball over the past 6 years. And in the 9th, he's just 1 out away from victory. For Detroit, a 4-2 win on Morris's finicky 5-hitter. In a glamorous event like the World Series, some of the smaller moments are also entitled to close observation. Take, for instance, ball players' little personality traits, like when Kurt Bevacqua performs his arm-stretching ritual every time he comes to the plate. Then there are other habits like Morris's chain reaction. And then there's the Steve Garvey shuffle. The goose hat grab. And then there's the Rupert Jones lumber trance. Or how about the Greg Nettles mitt shine? And, of course, the Marty Castillo 1, 2, 3 touch. Well, to each his own, especially in baseball, where no 2 teams and no 2 players are ever quite the same. Before Game 5, a moment to consider the rampaging Tigers. 35 wins in their first 40 games, never having spent a day out of first place, and now just 1 win away from the series title. Their starter is Dan Petrie, and he finds Alan Wiggins on board as the Padres battle in the first.
Just an ordinary move over here now. Nobody out. Make the line drive go through.
With Wiggins on base, the Tigers know the situations as well. But sometimes forewarned is not forearmed. Wiggins at third, 1 out, and a great opportunity for the Padres.
Watch your shortstop.
They're halfway, though.
Yeah, I know. At second base, you can go, and the first baseman, too. The left side, we're going to stay here, okay? Right side, we're going to go home.
The next batter, Steve Garvey. Wiggins is out, but manager Williams wants a chat with umpire Paul Runge.
Yeah, he had him right here, Dick.
I wonder why he kept going after him.
That's a foolish thing, but I can't afford to let it go.
He went after him. He knew he
I know. He thought he didn't get him, but he did get him.
Well, in your mind, you got him.
Absolutely.
And he knows he didn't. And
He wanted. I think he wanted to make sure.
It's going to be a debatable thing, isn't it?
Yep. You didn't think you got him, Parrish?
Huh?
You didn't think you got him?
I was just making sure. I knew he didn't touch the plate, so I didn't want to do anything.
Tiger precautions keep the Padres off the board. But in the bottom of the inning, San Diego's Mark Thurmond faces a reckless situation as Detroit begins to fire up again. Runner on first, 1 man out, and at the plate, the hulking 6' 3" figure of Kirk Gibson. Shell-shocked, San Diego is once more in a hole. For the 5th time in 5 games, the Tigers have struck first. Gibson's blast has Detroit up 2-0. Before the first inning ends, the Tigers score another, and the Padres now find themselves trailing by 3. But San Diego scores a run in the third, and an inning later, Petrie is tested again.
Good, thank you. Thank you.
Templeton's double puts runners on second and third with 1 out. Petrie next faces the 9th man in the order, a struggling Bobby Brown.
Take up! Take up! Take up!
The sacrifice scores a second run, and the Padres are fighting back.
Whenever we come up, we got the lead run there. Attaboy, Kurt. Attababy. Attababy. Attaboy, Brownie.
Up next, Alan Wiggins, batting .368 in the series. Showing the same spirit that got them to the series in the first place, the Padres have rallied to tie. But they fail to score more in the fourth, and for a brief while, the base paths remain calm. It's the bottom of the fifth, and the Tigers have been shut down since the first. Blanking Detroit over 3 1/3 has been reliever Andy Hawkins, serving the team a steady diet of zeros.
This guy is just making us eat our lunch.
Nevertheless, the Tigers stay hungry. Gibson's second hit is followed by a walk. And when the time comes for a change, it's clear that Hawkins has given all he could.
Look, I'm going to make the switch. You've been just outstanding. You've just been super. You've done it. You've done a great job here. Every time you've gone out here. Here, let me get a hand. Get the hand you deserve. That's beautiful. First and second, give him more than one look back there. He'll run.
On the first pitch.
But new reliever Craig Lefferts yields a walk to load the bases, and the Tigers know that they have to cash in against San Diego's comeback kids.
Don't want to make no plane trips. Let's go.
Up at bat, pinch hitter Rusty Kuntz. Kuntz lifts a routine fly, but right fielder Tony Gwynn loses it. Wiggins steps in, but the throw never has a chance. The Tigers have jumped out to a 1-run lead. And later in the 7th, the Padres know they can't allow more. Summoned from the bullpen is Rich Goose Gossage for just the 2nd time in the series. And with 1 out, the first man Gossage faces is Lance Parrish. The best home run hitting club in the majors has connected again. Parrish's solo shot puts the Tigers up by 2. In the 8th, the Tigers turn to their remarkable relief ace, Willie Hernandez, who's made 5 postseason appearances and yielded just 1 run. And now with 2 out, Hernandez confronts an unrelenting Kirk Babakwa. 37-year-old Kirk Babakwa, who hit only 1 home run the entire season, has belted his 2nd of the series and helped bring his never-say-die ball club to within 1 run of Detroit. But in the bottom of the 8th, San Diego is soon in jeopardy. With 1 out, the Tigers have runners at 2nd and 3rd, with Kirk Gibson coming to bat. Gibson's already homered and singled, and Dick Williams' first thought is to walk him. But Gossage, a former American leaguer, doesn't want to load the bases, and he asks permission to pitch to Gibson.
He's looking over here at you. I've already given him 4 balls.
You told him 4. He's coming out.
I've had good success. You want the infield in on him? No.
Last guy wasn't that good on third. About halfway.
Halfway? Well, you go. I mean, I've got to cut out. I got to cut. You mean you're talking about striking him out?
Yeah.
He don't want to walk you. Yeah, he don't want to walk you.
We got to bring the infield in.
Okay. One out.
Now, if he doesn't run good, you can stay back a little further.
All right. Let's go.
One man out.
Dick Williams sticks with a longtime ace, but in this situation, the Tigers have a trump of their own. Kirk Gibson's three-run homer has blown this game apart, sweeping all of Tiger Stadium into a spontaneous celebration. A moment of triumph for a ball club and a coming of age for Kirk Gibson, undeniably reaching the heights of his talent. As the cheers echo across the old ballpark, the Tigers take their commanding 4-run lead into the ninth and then stand poised to claim a championship. In the final inning, Willie Hernandez has retired 2 Padres. Now he takes aim at history. A 4th world title for Detroit and a show of unrestrained joy. Ending a season they totally dominated, the Tigers are truly champions. A crowning moment for Sparky Anderson, the first manager to win a World Series in both leagues. And he'd be the first to say he couldn't have done it without his well-blessed boys. Now, time to honor a champion and time to pay special homage to so many championship performances, like the one turned in by Aurelio Lopez, whose 2 1/3 innings of hitless relief helped win the final game. Then there was Milt Wilcox, steady as a rock through 6 solid innings and a pivotal win in Game 3. For San Diego, there was Dave Dravecky, twice called upon from the bullpen, never once scored upon. And a curtain call for Kurt Bavacqua, who kept the Padre faith, batting .412, hitting 2 homers, and cherishing so well his World Series moment. Finally, Alan Trammell, who drove in 6 runs, batted .450, and was named the series' most valuable player, a star among stars in a World Series galaxy.